What's up? What's up, everybody? Here we go, here we go, here we go. Welcome to the program, everybody. Thank you for being here. This is Info Media Reacts. What are we going to do on this channel that's going to be a little bit different than the Information Man show? I want to thank everybody that has been waiting patiently. I had a couple of technical things that I had to straighten out, but we're here live. Glad to be live. And do we have a doozy for tonight's show? What's different is that I'm going to be taking on various different topics, whether it be in entertainment, sports, news, anything that's happening on social media. And we're going to be reacting. I'm going to be reacting to various clips and various things that are happening so that we can get right into it, examine it. And you know how I do over here. It's about telling the truth. You know that 100%. You know it.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
And I'm gonna tell it, y'all.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
And I'm gonna tell it. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Once again, happy Juneteenth to all my people out there that have celebrated Juneteenth. Tonight, I am going to back up some of my points with legitimate history. I'm going to have a few surprises for you tonight in this particular broadcast. Now, you all remember that this channel used to be Information Man Speaks Podcast, and I've now rebranded, changed it, because we're going to be doing some different things over here. If you have not caught, or if you missed the video, it's getting good views. The video that I did on one Steve Harvey, some of the stuff that he said about, these celebrities always putting their foots in their mouths. Malcolm X, as I said in the other video, has already told us that we shouldn't be listening to celebrities as our leaders when it comes to our politics and various other things in life. So let's get into it right now. I'm going to give a lot of credit to this man right here. I got to give him a lot of credit, give him a clap. I got to give him a clap as well to Kendrick Lamar. I have to. Because I'm actually proud of the fact that he had his concert on Juneteenth. And this is what gets missing in the sauce. He brought, I'm from California, so I understand California culture. He brought many black men together, the gangs, a lot of the black gangs in Los Angeles, Bloods and Crips, everybody there who came together. Nobody was fighting. There was no violence. Of course, he was, clowning Drake because him and Drake have been going in a back and forth. And by all accounts, everyone says that he won this battle against Drake, okay, in this situation. So I want to do something here, and I want to show you, this is the concert hall. I think this was at the old Inglewood Forum where the Lakers played, and he had a hell of a concert. He came out there dressed. He used strategy, y'all. The colors, a lot of people don't realize that. He wore a red hoodie, jeans, reminiscent to Tupac. Because if I'm not mistaken, Drake, who he has been battling with, did something disrespectful in one of his videos, I believe, trying to make fun of a Tupac. I believe, if I'm correct about that. If I'm not, please correct me in the comment section of this video or in the chat room. And I want to thank everybody that's in the chat room. I see August Dreams over here. Haven't seen you in quite some time, but glad to see you here. We got Express is in the house. Thank you for being here. I appreciate everybody that's here tonight, that's coming over. People that will watch this on the replay, because we're going to get into it. And once again, I got to give a lot of credit to Kendrick Lamar, because Kendrick Lamar had a concert in Los Angeles at the Forum, as I said before. He brought all the West Coast rappers together, the Dr. Dre's, everybody came together. He was the it man of the night. And he did this on June Juneteenth, okay, of all times to do this on a day of emancipation. Now, we know that there's a lot to debate about whether black people were really free. We know Abraham Lincoln really was only focused on keeping the Union together, which is why he put economic embargoes on the South by freeing some of the slaves. So we're going to go over that history, but we're going to go over something that's even more egregious in my mind in this concert that he had over this weekend. And that is, it seems like, tell me folks, does it seem like when black people are celebrating a holiday or some celebration that is related to our lineage, our heritage, our historical experiences, that it seems like today everybody wants to sort of, they feel entitled to everything that black people in this country have created, whether it be our music, okay?
Tell the truth.
I'm going to tell it, y'all. I'm going to tell it.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Seems like people feel like they're entitled to our music, our culture, our dancing, our style, our fashion, everything that we do. Somebody is copying off of it. There, back in the day, we called it biting. When I was breakdancing and strutting, we would say, that guy bit off my move. We got a lot of people biting, culture vulture, whatever you want to call it. And when black people do something, other people get upset about it. They feel uncomfortable. But we as a people, black people in America, you know, we don't talk about other people's celebrations. The Chinese have their Chinese New Year's. They have their Chinese New Year's parade, their dances, their songs. We don't say, hey, why didn't they include us? Black people were underrepresented, right? When we talk about the Mexican culture or the Chicano culture we have in Los Angeles, California, that's their Mexican flag. We have Mexican people in America who rock that flag, which isn't the flag of the United States, but they rock it anyway. We know why? Because they have pride in their heritage, their lineage, and their culture, right? They do cultural things like the Day of the Dead, where they paint their face. They have the skeletons that is about recognizing those that have passed away. I don't know all the details of the celebration, but we know that they celebrate many different things right here on this soil. And black people, black Americans, we don't complain. We don't say, hey, you know, there was no black people represented in this celebration and we feel slated.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Now, you would think that people would use common sense and say, hey, this is a celebration in honor of not only Juneteenth, but Kendrick Lamar was bringing together some of the West Coast rappers, particularly black West Coast rappers that are in his community. This was a community, and he put the whole country and the nation on notice that the West Coast rap is back, y'all. And that we're not to be toyed with. We're not to be toyed with. And so people feel some kind of way about it because every time they see black people coming together, it appears that way, that people feel funny style about it. Let's get to the video. Let's get to it right now. Once again, great concert. If you didn't see it, you got to see it. It was on Amazon Prime. I think on YouTube you might be able to find it if you don't have Amazon. I think Amazon Prime might have taken it down or what have you. But that's the flag that we rock. And you notice that the Juneteenth flag is rocking with the blue and red, not the RGB colors, because the African colors don't have anything to do with Juneteenth. Those are the colors that we should be rocking, as you see right there. I just want to clarify that. So once again, every time black people are celebrating, singing, dancing, whatever we're doing culturally, everybody wants to steal our style or claim that they were the founders of something that we founded before they even got here. And so this is no disrespect to Mexican people. They have a rich heritage, a rich culture. I don't know how many of you all are aware that one of their first presidents of their country in the revolution actually is part black. You have black Mexicans. And you know that they get treated poorly. The black Mexicans in Mexico get treated very poorly. I'm going to tell the truth, and I'm going to tell it.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
But this video that was put out on social media really raises the eyebrows. Let's go ahead and play this right now, y'all. Let's go right at it, if I'm not mistaken, right now.
No, yeah. So basically, I feel like the Mexican people were underrepresented last night.
Let me move it back and let's play this one more time.
No, yeah. So basically, I feel like the Mexican people were underrepresented there.
Stop it right there. As you can hear him, he clearly says that he feels that the Mexican people were underrepresented at the concert at the Inglewood Forum where the Lakers used to play. I'm going to ask everybody in the chat room, all of you that are listening out there, this was not a celebration of everyone's culture. This was a Juneteenth concert that Kendrick Lamar put on, bringing black people together, particularly the black Los Angeles. They never said that Mexicans or other races of people were excluded from coming to the concert. But why is it that everybody feels it appears, I want to be fair, I want to keep my dialogue on this channel different from the Information Man show and just keep it real straight to the point. Why is it that it seems like, or it appears, that people feel some kind of way when they see black people come together? And instead of people saying, hey, that was great to see black people, black artists come together. You have gangs in Los Angeles, California, who Bloods and Crips, Pyrus, everything. They came together. Nobody was fighting. You had Tommy the Clown. You have that dance, the crumping dance that came out of that was created out of Los Angeles with Tommy the Clown. And Tommy the Clown is a guy who came out of prison and his goal was to change his life. He began working in the community, working with youth, getting them into a dance troops. They perform at people's birthday parties and various parties in Los Angeles. But the goal was to bring children, kids, teenagers, keep them out of the gangs, keep them out of trouble and mischief. So there was a lot positive on that stage besides it just being about Kendrick Lamar showing out and showing up to put Drake in his place. It was more than just about that, y'all. Okay, this was about a community coming together. So instead of people saying, hey, the black community's coming together, this is a good look. What are we doing here? Let's not, try to throw a monkey wrench in there saying, there were no Mexican people represented. Mexican people in California, they have lots of events where they don't include black people or our music or our entertainers because they're simply celebrating their heritage, such as something like this right here, right? And I respect this. But why is it that people don't respect the things that we celebrate when we come together? And it was Juneteenth. Let's continue. Let's continue this video.
Last night.
I feel it. I can see that.
I can see that too, man. But
And a lot of people are telling me that I sound like bitter or something. Like, I'm not a rapper, fool. I'm not tripping about not being on stage. I'm saying, like, oh, Jeezy performed, I think, last
That's dope.
night.
Yeah.
did he?
That would have been nice if he would have been on
Oh,
stage.
if he would have.
Now, maybe the young legend had something to do, so
Right.
he dipped.
Right. Because all the artists that did perform were up there.
Facts.
I respect it.
You respect it. You hear what he's saying? They respect it. But wait till you hear what he's going to say. Let's continue.
Who was up there? I can't keep count.
There was a lot of people that went, but I think Jeezy was the only.
Person that didn't pop out? Or were you going to say he's the only Mexican that performed?
Both.
So they're talking about Jeezy. I'm not that familiar with him, but they're talking about maybe he performed in that concert, maybe he didn't. But the problem is they're setting up here sort of trying to downplay the positiveness of what took place on that stage, but focusing on this and what appears to be an entitlement in which Mexican Americans, we deserve or should have been on that stage, where they are not using critical thinking skills, such as it was a Juneteenth celebration. So obviously it's black people coming together under the banner of Juneteenth slash concert for Kendrick Lamar. So therefore, he brought black people together on a very special day that has to do with black people. So why is everybody now having a problem? And I'm going to say this again. Every other ethnic group in this country and outside of this country, they delineate themselves from everybody. When black people try to delineate ourselves in terms of our heritage, our lineage, and even black people that were born here under that Juneteenth banner that you see right here, of those ancestors that were slaves coming off the plantation from slavery into Reconstruction. Why is everybody trying to pigeonhole, or it appears that people are trying to pigeonhole into what anything that black people have going on? When we come together, people feel uncomfortable. I give you an example. If you have a group of 10 or 20 black men who go out together to maybe, a ball, out to have a good time, right? Black men showing unity, black men wearing the same colors, whatever, showing unity, going out. People feel very uncomfortable because there's a negative ideation as to how people see black people. When we come together, people get nervous, right? Especially when there's no violence. Then they really get nervous. Let's continue.
Did he perform? Was he supposed to perform?
He did perform, yeah.
Oh, he did?
Mhm.
And I didn't see him perform because I caught it late.
I saw
but
the clip.
I saw
I didn't even see that
a
clip. What the
picture
fuck?
of someone posting that he performed.
Do you think it had something to do with it being Juneteenth?
I don't understand. I thought Juneteenth was like on the 16th or something like that.
Boom. This is the problem right here. I'm going to tell you, after listening, and there's a lot more to go, folks. After listening to this video fully, and you're going to hear it fully as well, it's an indictment on the educational system, not only in this country, but the educational system in Los Angeles, California. The fact that this man, you're going to hear them really mess up a whole bunch of stuff. He's talking about, I thought Juneteenth was on 6th. Let's just hear this.
It's on June 19th.
It was Juneteenth yesterday.
Yeah, it was Juneteenth. Facts.
I respect it.
Do you think that has something to do with it?
He says he respects it.
Has something to do with what? The fact that they threw the show that day? Or that there was no Mexicans on stage?
There you go.
Boom. So one of the guys in this podcast says, do you think it had something to do with the fact that it was Juneteenth, which was on the 19th on that day? He said, oh, maybe it was the 16th.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
And I'm going to tell it, y'all. But you notice when he said that, when one of the hosts on the show or the guest on the show clearly said, don't you think it has something to do with the fact that it was Juneteenth, meaning that might be the reason why it was only black people up there? He still emphasized the fact that, well, Mexican Americans were not represented. Do you hear, I'm going to say this, do you hear black people complain about celebrations that other groups have in this country that has to do with their culture, their lineage, their background? We might go to their celebration, but they're not putting us on the stage and putting us front center. I want y'all to hear this part again as we move forward.
It
Do you think that had something to do with it?
had something to do with what? The fact that they threw the show that day? Or that there was no Mexicans on stage?
There you go. Do you think it was supposed to be like?
First of all, let me start off by saying congratulations to Kendrick Lamar and all of the wonderful individuals that performed last night.
Hell yeah, shut him out.
Boom. Now, he had no problem with shouting out Kendrick Lamar and everyone that performed in the concert. But keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Keep this in mind. He never acknowledged and said, shout out to Black Americans, shout out to Black people in Los Angeles in the day that they were celebrating, a day of what we've been told or to believe that it was a day of freedom under Article 3. Article 3 was the article in which they freed Black people. I'm going to read off about that tonight. You notice that he never acknowledged the fact that it was about Juneteenth as well. He made sure he shouted out Kendrick, but marginalized the fact that it was also a celebration related to a struggle that Black people went through. Check this out.
Do you think it was supposed to be like?
First of all, let me start off by saying congratulations to Kendrick Lamar and all of the wonderful individuals that performed last night.
Hell yeah, shut him out.
So I'm not trying to go racial with it, but I will say,
Oh, we're just picking each other's brains apart.
although it was Juneteenth, and I believe that's in remembrance of the massacre. I don't want to be wrong, but is it in Tulsa or in?
Oh!
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Woo! It's going to be me, damn it. He is a byproduct. This is a byproduct of a broken educational system. This is the problem in America. People don't know each other. They don't teach history. This man, and it's going to get worse, y'all, he believes it's going to get bad, that this celebration was part of Tulsa, Oklahoma race massacre. There it is. That's what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921. 1921, Greenwood. During the Tulsa Race Massacre, which occurred over 18 hours from May 31st to June 1st, 1921, a white mob attacked residents' homes, businesses in a predominantly Black Greenwood neighborhood of Tulsa, Oklahoma. The event remained one of the worst incidents of racial violence. It was a massacre, y'all, in the United States history, and the only place in America where they actually bombed. They said that you think that Pearl Harbor is the first place that was bombed in America. No, it wasn't. It was this place. They bombed it. They got in planes and they bombed it from planes, dropping bombs on the community, which is why it ended up looking like this. This man is mixing and conflating Juneteenth with the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre. These people want to steal our history. Some people like this, they want to claim pieces of our culture. They want to claim, oh, we invented rap. We invented this. We invented that. Yet they don't even know our damn history, because our history is part of what's responsible for creating all the things that we have in our culture today. So they want to appropriate it, just like you see on this video right here. Crazy shit. Let's get back to it.
Selma?
I don't even know.
Or a
I don't
place
even
over there?
know.
I could be wrong, and I hate to be wrong, but I know it's in remembrance of a massacre that took place, right?
No. It's not in remembrance of a massacre that took place. It's in remembrance, my God. Folks, this is what we're talking about. Juneteenth, short for June 19th, marks the day when federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas in 1865 to take control of the state and ensure that all enslaved people be freed. The troops arrived, came a full 2.5 years after signing the Emancipation Proclamation. Juneteenth honors the end of slavery in the United States and is considered the longest running African American or Black American holiday. On June 17th, 2021, it officially became a federal holiday. Juneteenth 2024 will occur on Wednesday, June 19th, and that's what happened. That's what happened when Kendrick Lamar did his thing, rocked the house at that concert, brought everyone together in celebration of Juneteenth. Plus, they were, exposing Drake, bringing black people together, bringing street organizations together that most people feel like, hey, this could never happen, that they could never be in one arena together without any no violence broke out. Let's hear this.
I could be wrong, and I hate to be wrong, but I know it's in remembrance of a massacre that took place, right? I like to say that the Mexican people have been persecuted in this wonderful land for a long, long, long time.
Boom. Check this out. We're going to hear I'm going to let y'all hear some more of this, but check this out. He said, check out how he, what do we call it? How he marginalized, underestimated, marginalized, and undervalued the Juneteenth celebration and concert, because from his point of view, there were not enough Mexican people represented. Yet he doesn't even have the incidents correct. This shows you that these guys on this podcast, they are a victim of the educational system in this country, where when you don't educate people about people's history. We got politicians in this country trying to demonize CRU, right? Trying to demonize black history. Look what's happening in Florida. Demonizing history. And when you demonize and destroy history, then someone else creates history. Okay? I'm going to tell it.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Tell the truth.
And so now you get individuals like this who not only feel they're entitled to our celebrations, meaning we should be represented, when the celebration doesn't have anything to do with your culture. It has to do with us. He never acknowledged and said, man, it was great to see black people come together, supporting each other and also celebrating a very special day. Just like in Mexican American culture, they celebrate Cinco de Mayo, which really isn't heavily celebrated in Mexico as much as it is celebrated very heavily by Mexican Americans, right? I'm going to go over the history my Spanish isn't good, y'all, but the Plabo, which means town, where this whole thing started for their celebration. Because even though I didn't feel that they were respectful in the way that they said what they said about our celebration, or lack of acknowledging it, because they didn't even get it right, I'm going to show that I can be intelligent enough to break down their celebrations, which black people never interfere. See, the thing is, they didn't care about the Juneteenth. They were just upset that, there was none of us up there represented. Everybody, I thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for watching. Like and make a comment when you get a chance on this video, because I would definitely appreciate that. And I want to thank you again. Don't go nowhere. Let's put this back up here again.
Picking each other's brains apart.
Although it was Juneteenth, And I believe that's in remembrance of the massacre. I don't want to be wrong, but is it in Tulsa or in Selma?
Boom. He also is wrong not once, but twice.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
I'm going to tell it.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Oh, my God. Selma. Remember the Pettus Bridge, which is named after a white supremacist Ku Klux Klan member? That name shouldn't even be on that bridge to this very day. But let's be historical here, because they can't get it right, which means our educational system is terrible in this country. And it's a bad reflection of Los Angeles. This shows that we don't know each other. Everybody keeps saying that there's a brown and black coalition. How the hell can there be a black and brown coalition when people don't even know people's culture properly, everybody? I see my man Yalpo out there. Sugar Love is in the house. Tell the truth. Shame the devil is in the house. We're going to tell the truth.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Earl Owens is in the house. I see you. Thank you. Everybody that's come through, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, please.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
This is Information Man of the Information Man Show, and this is the Reaction Channel. Thank you for coming over tonight. But let's get into this, because this is about people lack of history and knowledge. Check this out. Selma, Montgomery, Alabama, as we know it. The march was part of a series of civil rights protests that occurred in 1965 in Alabama, a southern state with deeply entrenched racist policies. In March of that year, in an effort to register black voters. See, they don't know our history. Everybody's piggybacking off of us, but don't even realize that the reason why your ass can vote, you can go to any school, live in any neighborhood, is because black people in America took the beating for you. We took the whips and the chains. See, these other groups that want to attach themselves to us, not attach themselves, but yeah, they want to attach themselves to our culture in terms of our entertainment, our music, our dance, our style, and our fashion. They want to say, why weren't we represented? Sucker, you wouldn't be able to vote in this country. You wouldn't be able to have what you have if it wasn't for things like this. The registered black people to vote in the South, protesters marching the 54-mile route from Selma to the state capital of Montgomery, Alabama, were confronted with deadly violence. This is what black people went through to bring you the culture, our music, our fashion, our style that everybody wants to copycat off of. Well, this is what our ancestors had to go through to bring it to you. They marched to the capital of Montgomery, where they were confronted with deadly violence from local authorities, white vigilante groups, basically white supremacists. I'm going to tell it. Somebody
gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
As the world watched the protesters under the protection of federalized National Guard, Federal National Guard troops, finally achieving their goal. I mean, folks, this is about truth, y'all. This is about truth. And I just want people to realize that we got a bad educational system, and we have other groups that want to attach themselves to our culture but don't know anything about what we went through for the culture that they want to culture vulture off of, or they want to attach themselves to. So they want to attach themselves to everything good about our culture, everything that's exciting about our culture, without having to understand and educate themselves on our culture in terms of what we've gone through. It's easy to attach yourself to us when it comes to our music, our dance, and our style. That's easy. But after that, these folks don't even give a damn about what we went through, because they don't even know what Juneteenth is, what's the difference between that and Tulsa, Oklahoma race massacre, or Selma. They don't know what the difference is, because they really don't care about us. The historical march and Martin Luther King Jr. participation in it raises awareness of the difficulties faced by black voters and the need for national voting right, which our people had their behinds mistreated. The very thing that you are benefiting from. Let's go back to that. I want to go back to that video and examine it some more. This is really crazy stuff. Let's get back to it, y'all.
I don't even know.
Or a place over there. I could be wrong, and I hate to be wrong, but I know it's in remembrance of a massacre that took place, right? I like to say that the Mexican people have been persecuted in this wonderful land for a long, long, long time.
So basically, if you notice what he's doing by saying, I want y'all to know that black people, that Mexican people have been persecuted in America for a long, long time. Everybody by show of sevens in the chat room. Put sevens if you know what I'm saying is true.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
When have black people denied any fact about Mexican people being harmed? We don't even have the conversation. We don't interfere in your culture. We've never told you you don't have a right to talk about what has happened to you. How about if you want a day that recognizes the things that you went through, why don't you do what black people have done for hundreds of years, which is protest, demand, make demands. You don't get nothing. You can't get power commands nothing without a damn demand. You got. Why don't you get out there and say, we want to recognize this particular day? Black people have paid the price in this country to get the things what little things that we get. We still haven't gotten reparations. We still don't get recognized for the things that have happened to us when we see other people who are getting certain benefits ahead of us. But to come and sit up here and say, well, Mexican people have been hurt or have been prosecuted for many, many years, as if black people said that, no, you guys have never been persecuted. As if anybody at the concert that Kendrick Lamar, nobody at the Kendrick Lamar Pop Out Juneteenth concert, nobody there punched down or say anything negative about Mexican American culture. Nobody. Nobody said anything about you guys are no good. Nobody punches down on y'all culture. You guys have your celebrations. We don't talk about them. We don't tell you what you can't do or that we need to be included. We don't punch down on you when you have your Cinco de Mayo celebrations. Do we punch down on you? No. Is Cinco de Mayo a day that's inclusive, where all races of people, in this case, black people, are included in Cinco de Mayo? We can go to your celebrations. Hell, in New York, they have Puerto Rican. They have a Puerto Rican day in New York where the Puerto Ricans come out and celebrate. And black people attend this. Black people attend Cinco de Mayo celebrations. And we don't say, when you guys have entertainers on stage singing, rappers, whoever, we don't say, wow, there wasn't enough black representation. When we go to the Puerto Rican day that they have in New York, do we say, wow, there's not enough black people represented on stage?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
When the Irish and any other group, when the Chinese have their celebration, we don't say, wow, the Chinese had a parade, they had the dragon dance, they had all of this, but there wasn't any black people represented.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
But now we do something. Now it's about nobody said you haven't been persecuted. Nobody said that you all didn't get treated poorly. We can go all the way back to Los Angeles when you had the zoot suits and you had the Mexicans that were wearing the zoot suits back in the day. And the police were putting the billy clubs on them. I know that history. I know Southern California or California history as it relates to different groups. Y'all was treated poorly, but we would never, you don't have black people who would come out. If you had a concert with all Mexican rappers, Chicano rappers in LA, I don't think any black people would say, hey, you didn't have any black representation, especially if the celebration was a Cinco de, let's say y'all had a Cinco de Mayo rap concert and you have your best and your brightest Mexican rappers and Chicano rappers. Well, it would be pretty obvious to us okay, they're celebrating Cinco de Mayo. They got their best and their brightest Mexican rappers. So they're doing their thing. If anything, we would be in support. We wouldn't be on our damn podcast talking about there was no black representation.
Underrepresented there last night.
I feel it. I can see that.
I can see that too, man. But
And a lot of people are telling me that I sound like bitter or something. Like, I'm not a rapper, fool. I'm not tripping about not being on stage. I'm saying, like, oh, Jeezy performed, I think,
That's
last
dope.
night.
Yeah.
did he?
That would have been nice if he would have been on
Oh,
stage.
if you.
Oh, Jeezy is I guess he's a Mexican rapper. I don't follow a lot of, I'm an old dude here, but listen to this.
Now, maybe the young legend had something to do, so
Right.
he dipped.
Right. Because all the artists that did perform were up there.
Facts.
I respect it. Who was up there? I can't keep count.
There was a lot of people that went, but I think Jeezy was the only.
Person that didn't pop out? Or were you going to say he's the only Mexican that performed?
Both.
Did he perform? Was he supposed to perform?
He did perform, yeah.
Did
Oh, he
perform.
did?
Mhm.
And I didn't see him perform because I caught it late.
I saw
but
the clip.
I saw
I didn't even see that
a
clip. What the
picture
fuck?
of someone posting that he performed.
Do you think it had something to do with it being Juneteenth?
I don't understand. I thought Juneteenth was like on the 16th or something like that. It's on June 19th.
It was Juneteenth yesterday.
Yeah, it was Juneteenth. Facts.
I respect it.
Do you think that had something to do with it?
Had something to do with what? The fact that they threw the show that day? Or that there were no Mexicans on stage?
There you go. Do you think it was supposed to be like?
First of all, let me start off by saying congratulations to Kendrick Lamar and all of the wonderful individuals that performed last night.
Hell yeah, shut him up.
So I'm not trying to go racial with it, but I will say
Oh, we're just picking each other's brains apart.
all
He says he does not want to go racial, but in fact, you did go racial because you're saying there was no one represented when it was a celebration of black people, our history in terms of it being Juneteenth, and black rappers, the black community in the Los Angeles area. Come on, why can't we have our celebrations just like everyone else and every other ethnic group in this country has their nobody tells the Italians that they can't have their celebration. No one tells the Irish. No one tells Jewish people they can't have their celebrations. Anything that black people do, people either criticize it or they say, why y'all didn't include us?
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
although it was Juneteenth, and I believe that's in remembrance of the massacre. I don't want to be wrong, but is it in Tulsa or in Selma
I don't even know.
or a place over there? I could be wrong, and I
Or
hate
a
to be wrong,
place-
but I know it.
He says, or a place over there. He says, is it a celebration over the massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921? Or was it in Selma? Or was it in Tulsa, Oklahoma? Nah, fool. It was the emancipation for black people. You see this picture here coming out of slavery into Reconstruction and being told that you're now free. Let me educate. These are individual need education. Remember I told you what Juneteenth was already, but check this out, y'all. This one you're going to get a kick out of because this is history that people just don't learn. Confederate General Robert E. Lee. Remember Robert E. Lee? He was a Confederate general, a white supremacist. But check this out. You do know when they buried Robert E. Lee, he told them that he did not want to be buried with the Confederate flag. And at that point, he came to a point where he was not happy about the Confederate flag, even though you have Southerners that will rock the Confederate flag and say it's a part of their heritage. Even their man, Robert E. Lee, when they buried him, said that he did not want to be buried with that flag and he did not want that flag to be rocked. Just a little bit of history. But Robert Lee E. surrendered at courthouse 2 months early in Virginia, but slavery had remained relatively unaffected in Texas until the United States General Gordon stood on Texas soil and read, this is what they did. He read, it was general order. So if anybody ever asks you, it was general order number 3. The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with the proclamation from the executive of the United States, all slaves are free. I just wanted to, just give you some history because these fools don't know history. They have no problem with rapping and imitating what we do and culture voting off of what we do and then trying to repackage it as, oh, we the ones that created it. Or we were a big part of it. But then they love our dance, they love all the other shit, and then they don't know nothing about our history. And as he says, Mexican people were persecuted as well for many, many years, and no black person has denied that. I have not denied that. But damn it, by saying that, you trying to deny what the celebration in the rap concert was about as well. The other half of it, besides just the music, that it was a day on a very special day for black people, on top of the fact that they brought black gangs, black street organizations together. Nobody was fighting. Nobody was pitted against each other. That was a beautiful thing. He didn't mention any of that stuff. It was all about, well, we've been persecuted. You see what he did? He underestimated, he undervalued what black people went through by now saying, well, we Mexicans, when nobody said that Mexican Americans were not oppressed, did not have any bad things happen. Now, they didn't have the same stuff happen to them as black people because they weren't enslaved. And remember, in Mexico, at one point in time before Mexico ended slavery, even the Mexicans got in on slavery at one point in time. That's why you've got black people that live in Mexico right now that are black and Mexican. And you had black people who settled over there when the Mexican government finally said, no more slavery. We're not having slavery in this country. But at one point in time, they did. So while he's talking about what happened to Mexican people for many years, your own people, I got to keep it real.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
And I'm going to tell it. The truth of the matter is, you guys were involved in some of our oppression as well. And that's been shit that's been happening in Los Angeles. And I'm going to get to that too as well.
Somebody gonna have to tell
With
the
black
truth, and I'm
people
gonna tell it.
and people that are of the Mexican or Chicano background. Everybody, make sure that if you like videos like this, that you subscribe. If you want more videos like this, more reaction videos, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification, because you know why? I definitely would appreciate that, everybody. Thank you. Let's get back to it again. I'm playing this again because it's really like, whoa. It's really like, whoa.
It's in remembrance of a massacre that took place, right? I'd like to say that the Mexican people have been persecuted in this wonderful land for a long, long, long time.
Okay. Nobody is denying that. Once again, I want to thank everybody in the chat room. I am going to pull up your comments, read your comments before I end this reaction show tonight. This is the new format on this channel. The Information Man show that I do on Sundays will remain in the format that it's in, but this will be a different format. I will be covering different stuff on this channel, such as entertainment, sports, social media, right? Anything, news. So we're covering it all as it happens. I've got so much material that I'm going to be reacting. You're going to love it on this channel. You're going to love it because I got so much material that I'm going to be reacting and bringing to your attention and to your analysis and to your critical thinking as well. Okay. But this really, to me, is epitome of people who don't respect our culture. In my opinion, I'm not saying all Mexican people, but I'm saying these guys who happen to be Mexican that are on this podcast, those that think like them really don't respect us. Because it's like people think they have an entitlement to our culture and the things that we've been through.
The Mexican people were underrepresented there last night.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I feel it. I can see that.
I can see that too, man. But
And a lot of people are telling me that I sound like bitter or something. Like, I'm not a rapper, fool. I'm not tripping about.
It doesn't matter if you're a rapper. You do sound bitter. It doesn't matter if you're not a rapper. You sound bitter. Instead of you focusing on the positiveness of it, and maybe the Mexican American community and Chicano community in Los Angeles, why don't you guys have a big concert when you have Cinco de Mayo next year or any other thing a part of your culture? Why don't you guys get together, pull your resources and bring all your top Mexican entertainers and rappers, whatever, bring them together, have a big concert out there in LA somewhere and represent your people just as Kendrick Lamar and black people did in Los Angeles, and do your damn thing. And I bet you're not going to hear black people punching down and saying there was no black representation. Why don't y'all rep y'all culture and go ahead and do this? Because unlike your lack of respect, I can break down some of your history in a respectful way. For example, putting this back on the screen here. This is, I believe, in Mexico, this is the actual town. Pueblo, I think, means P-U-E-B, Pablo. My Spanish is not good, y'all, so you have to excuse me. But this is the town where Cinco de Mayo got created. And remember, Cinco de Mayo is not really a big celebration in Mexico. It's really bigger in the United States by Mexican Americans. And do black people, like I said again, do we come out on our podcast and say there was no black people represented? I mean, I just got to say that again for effect. Let's go with their history. Let's go. Cinco de Mayo, or the 5th of May, is a holiday that celebrates the date of Mexican arms, May 5th. The Mexican Army's May 5th, 1862, victory over France at the Battle of Pueblo. My Spanish is not good, but I know that Pueblo in English means town. A battle of a town during the French-Mexican War, or the France-Mexican War. The day, which falls on Sunday, May 5th, in 2024, is also known as the Battle of Pueblo Day. While it is a relatively minor holiday in Mexico, like I just said, y'all, I wouldn't lie to you. I wouldn't lie to you. While it is relatively a minor holiday in Mexico, in the United States, Cinco de Mayo has evolved into a commemoration, a celebration of, excuse me on that word there, a celebration of Mexican culture and heritage. Isn't ladies and gentlemen, isn't Juneteenth a celebration of Black people's heritage and culture as well? Isn't it a day that we call a day of freedom when the slaves or some of the slaves first got word that they were free? I think after 2 years, they didn't. Texas was the last state to give up their slave system, if I'm not mistaken. They're one of the last states, or they were the last state in the South, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me in the chat room if I'm wrong. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, everybody, for rocking with us tonight. This is how we're going to be doing this, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and come back for more reaction. But isn't this a part of what our culture is about? And wasn't Black people coming together in Los Angeles with the music, which is a part of our culture, even though there's some rap music that we may not like? You know, we may take a pause on some of this rap music. I understand that. There's some stuff that we say, hey, that doesn't represent the culture, I believe. But overall, you had Black people coming together around the music. Juneteenth was a celebration of the day. Nobody was fighting. The street organizations were united. And you don't hear us telling Mexican people or any other groups of people how they should celebrate or include us in their celebration. We just don't do that. Even though they can try to dance like us, they can try to appropriate our hip hop clothing, our hip hop culture, and all that sort of stuff that Black people paid a price. Our ancestors paid a price before you even got the culture. Okay?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
And I'm going to tell it. Let's go back here. Although it's relatively a minor holiday in Mexico, the United States Cinco de Mayo has evolved into a celebration, culminating. I can't say that word. For some reason, folks, I'm tongue-tied on this one word, but I'll just say celebration, heritage, particularly in the areas with large Mexican-American populations. And guess what, y'all? I'm not hating on them. They have every right to celebrate that which is important to them in their culture. They have every right. And why would I or you begrudge them? But then when we do something, everybody is punching down on us. Oh, the Black people have a get together, and you didn't have us represented. And then, well, what were they doing anyway? Well, I believe it was about that massacre or Sama or something of that nature. I believe Juneteenth is June 16th.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Tell the truth.
But here I am reading their history and being respectful because I'm actually reading it as it is verbatim. Check this out. This is another thing that people always get wrong with the history. People think that Cinco de Mayo is actually Mexican Independence Day, but that's not actually true. Cinco de Mayo is not Mexican Independence Day. It's popular, but there's a misconception. Instead, it's a commemoration of a single battle. It's a memorial to a single battle in 1861. A lawyer and a member of the indigenous Zappa tribe, I can't say that makes that word right, but it's a tribe, was elected president of Mexico. So I apologize for getting the Spanish wrong, y'all. See, I have enough sense to apologize. That guy's on there. He's screwing everything up and not even apologizing. But at least I had enough sense to pull up some of their history here and get a majority of what I'm saying correct in terms of what actually happened. So their president, the president of Mexico at the time, the country was in financial ruin. So how many of y'all know that at this time that Mexico was in financial ruin in 1861? They were in financial ruin after years of internal strife. And the new president was forced to default on debt payments to European governments. Isn't it so true that Europeans? So when he says that the Mexican people have been have had some persecution, right? But let's not forget that Haiti's been paying France a reparation to this very day. Is Mexico still paying Haiti? Is like Haiti is? Haiti is still paying the French government for kicking their ass in their war against them or their uprise against them, right? Whereas Mexico, same thing, they had to pay a debt to another European government like France, right? And it hurt them. So it shows you that, yes, Europeans have been messing around with different groups of people. But this is the thing. Mexico is not in the condition that it is today because they are broke because of having to pay a European government, because they're not paying a debt. But you notice that the black people in Haiti are still in debt and still in a crumbling situation because of the problems that they have with France sucking them dry of resources. Mexico right now is in the state that it's in because they have a corrupt government, they have cartels, they have all kind of individuals over there that are ruining the country. Haiti is in the state that it is because of the debt that they've been paying France for years, and they haven't been getting any help, and they got an unstable government. Guess what? Mexico's government ain't no more better. I'm just going to tell the truth.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
And I'm going to tell it. I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. I'm not finished. Don't go. Don't go. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and stay subscribed, because once again, I know this channel has been dormant for a very long time. I've repackaged it. I've rebranded. And this is the new style of how we're going to do. We're going to be doing reaction videos. I will be doing uploaded videos, right? Short upload videos on reactions. I got a lot of reactions to different stuff that I'm going to be bringing you. So I'm going to be doing a different style than what I do on the Information Man show. And you're going to love it, y'all. You're going to love it. So I want to thank y'all. Now, let me bring, like I said again, we don't tell them what to do with their heritage, their colors that they wear, the way they decorate. We don't tell them, hey, why didn't you put black people in? Like I could say, for example, looking at this B-roll that you're looking at right now, I could say, okay, you have a Mexican man and a Mexican woman playing music. I could say, well, where's the black man at? Why don't you have? Because we're the creators of rock and roll. We're the creators of rap music. We're the creators of all sort of instruments. A lot of the instruments that people are playing today were actually created in Africa and other parts. And black people have had an instrumental part of the blues, rhythm and blues. So I can say right now, where's the black person at? See, black people are not represented in this. No, because this is promoting Mexican heritage. So therefore, there would be no black people in this B-roll that I'm showing you. Or I can say right here, where's the black people in this? No black people are represented. No, because this is a Mexican celebration. It's heritage. It's a dance. So therefore, why would I expect a black person, even though, let's keep it real, even though they treat the black Mexicans like dirt in Mexico? But nobody wants to talk about that, but I will.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
I got one for you. Let's go down a lane of history. Check this out. When did rap begin in Los Angeles? Since the first Los Angeles hip hop record in 1981. How many of y'all know that? That the first hip hop record in Los Angeles, we're talking about record, it was in 1981. Disco Daddy. How many of y'all know about Disco Daddy?
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Southern California has generated some of the biggest names. Now, Disco Daddy and Captain Rap the Gigolo. How many of y'all remember Gigolo Rap? Southern California Gigolo Rap. So we got 1981 Disco Daddy and Captain Rap, better known as the Gigolo Rap. Southern California has generated some of the biggest names in hip hop history. Ice-T, Eazy-E, NWA, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Tupac, The Game. But how many of y'all in the chat room by a show of putting sevens are familiar with Disco Daddy and Captain Rap, or what we call them Gigolo Rap? Put sevens in there if you are familiar with these individuals from the Los Angeles area. Put sevens if you're familiar. I want y'all to really do. I'm serious. Put those sevens in there if you're familiar with these individuals. Disco, Captain Disco. I'm gonna put it back up here. (1981), we've got a few people. Don H says we've got Alpha 22 puts a 7. Earl puts 777s in there. Above Liability puts 7s in there. I appreciate those 7s. I appreciate you all. Let me hurry up so I can get to your messages, so I can read some of them. Let me just get past this little part and we're going to get to your messages, folks. I appreciate all of you for being here. This is a clap for you. Now, let's put this one up. Let's put this one up. How many of you are familiar with Alonzo Williams, a DJ from Compton, California? Is often called. See, this is why nobody can't tell me that black people, black Americans didn't create rap music, that we're not the foundation of it. Who is familiar with Alonzo Williams, a DJ from Compton, California? He's often called the godfather of West Coast hip hop. In the late 1970s, Williams partnered with Roger Clayton. I think Clayton. I'll say Clayton. I got that name correct. Another DJ from Los Angeles, to form a unique dream team, I guess. A promotion company. So they came together, formed something called Unique Dreams, a promotion company that hired Williams to DJ at local events. Okay? Alonzo Williams has worked in the music industry for over 40 years as a DJ producer and former club owner. And his garden studio is considered a place where West Coast hip hop history was made. How many of you are familiar with this history? Please let us know by putting 7s in the chat room. Let us know, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know. Let everybody know in the chat room. I appreciate everybody that's here. All that you do tonight, supporting the channel.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
And it's gonna be me. So I appreciate you all for coming out, supporting this channel on a Saturday night. It feels good to me, considering that I haven't done anything on this channel in a very long time. Now, I've dropped a couple of videos, one on that Bishop White character, Lamar Bishop White. He doing 9 years. He going 9 years in prison. He's still in jail right now. Okay. And then, of course, I did the video on Steve Harvey and all that shuck talking that he was doing with Kamala Harris as it relates to black people ain't gonna get no reparations unless y'all gonna have to vote or something like that. That video is getting good views right now. I appreciate all of you who have been watching that video and sharing that video. So thank you. So it lets me know that I'm going in the right direction with this channel and that I got so much more content that's coming your way that you're going to enjoy it. Once again, like I said, I'm going to be doing live streams like this, a lot of live streams because I got to get this channel back to where I want it to go. I really want to blow this channel up with your help, of course. And then I definitely want to give you some uploaded videos. I'm going to start dropping some interesting stuff in the community tab as well. Once again, I want to say again tonight, I want to thank you for watching. Don't go away, though. I got a few more things I want to do. Definitely subscribe, comment. Thank you, everybody, again. Definitely appreciate that. Definitely. Let me go ahead and show you something else. Check this out. Let me play this video. So check this out. You have Mexican Americans who are supporting Donald Trump, and they're part of the mega crowd. And while this guy is sitting up here in his podcast, these guys are in the podcast talking about black people and how they were underrepresented at Kendrick Lamar's Pop Out Juneteenth concert at the Inglewood Forum in Los Angeles, California. Why don't they start addressing their own people who are telling them to go back to Mexico? Check this out. Let's react to this one, y'all. Let's do this.
Go back to Mexico! Hey, go back to Mexico, fool! What's going on, man? You like it so bad? Go back!
He says, go back to Mexico. You like it so bad? Go back. These are actually Mexican people telling their own people to go back to Mexico if you don't, because these guys are supporters of Donald Trump and they are mega. They got the red caps on and they're telling their own people to go back. So instead of worrying about why you weren't represented at a concert that was really about a black celebration around Juneteenth and around Kendrick Lamar and his beef that he had with, or his rap beef that he had with Drake. And it was a coming together of who's who in the black community of Los Angeles in terms of those in the streets. You got Tommy the Clown, who has been working with youth, and they do the crumping dancing that they do that was created in LA by black people. Okay?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Instead of talking about that, how about you worry about your own people who are telling you to go back to Mexico? These Trumpers, the Mexican Trumpers. Listen again.
Go back to Mexico! Hey, go back to Mexico, fool!
He says, go back to Mexico, fool. That's their own people talking to them about go back.
What's going on, man? You like it so bad? Go back! Why are you here?
He said, you like it so much? You like it so bad? Then why you here? Go back. I told you I'm going to be doing reactions to all sorts of stuff on this channel. So y'all buckle up, join the channel, hit that bell.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Hit that bell notification. Let's get at it.
Go back to Mexico! Hey, go back to Mexico, fool!
What's
going on, man? You like it so bad? Go back! Why are you here?
Oh, God. He said you like it.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Oh, my God. So you see that, you see, they got bigger. Look, man, why don't you go talk? Look, mic check. Let me, oh God. You know what? Let's go megaphone right now. Ladies and gentlemen, instead of being concerned about what black people are doing, everybody is concerned about what we're doing. How about you consider focusing on yourselves, talking to your people like that tell you to go back to Mexico? Talk to your people about that. And maybe what you should do is have a celebration of your culture and include all the entertainers that are Mexican, that are Mexican American, Chicano, and do the same thing like what Kendrick Lamar did and black folks at the Inglewood Forum. And Inglewood really is a black community which is being gentrified right now, ladies and gentlemen, in Los Angeles. But nobody cares about how black people get moved out of places that we live, and we get gentrified by other people that move in, and then black people have to deal with the gangs in Los Angeles that have been we're talking about the Mexican gangs that come over from Mexico that have gone into black communities and bombed them out. Oh, let's go back a couple of years. I did a show about this on the Information Man Show, my first channel, talking about this very issue. And let's take the megaphone off now. So let me go ahead and do this.
Tell the truth.
Okay? We're going to tell the truth. This is going to be a hard pill to swallow. And I got to tell it, y'all. Here we go. How many of y'all remember this back in 2016, July 7, 2016? This was the Los Angeles Times that reported this story. Latino gangs members firebombed black residents to drive them out of Baldwin Heights projects, prosecutors alleged. How many of y'all remember this story? I did this story of some years ago when I first got on YouTube, on my first channel. I didn't have a lot of people watching, but how many of y'all remember that? Put sevens in the chat room if you remember what I'm talking about. Yalpo, you remember this. Mike B, what's going on? I'm going to end up modding some people up that are from my other channel. How many of y'all remember this? How many of y'all remember? I want to put those sevens in the chat room. I got more to say. What's going on? Brunts, Flat Power, God. Let me mod you up. Let me mod you up, brother. You've been rocking with me for a minute now. And this is my other channel, brother. I haven't been doing anything over here in a long time, but now we're back with a new format. We're back with a vengeance, y'all. And thank you. We got Sugar Love in the house. Earl Owens, who's been rocking with me forever and a day. Peggy Roster, rocking with me ever and a day. But how many of y'all remember this? See, y'all didn't see. I know y'all probably watched other people who have talked about this issue, but ain't nobody did it like me, because I gave you full and deeper context tonight. How many of y'all was expecting me to come out with this one? How many of y'all remember this? Here's another article from that year. Here's another article. Gang members sentenced to 30. So after they were bombing black people out of this community, they didn't want black people. These were the Mexican gangs coming over from Mexico, the gangs that come over because they were trying to take over the territory because they're selling drugs. And there's been tons of reports of black young men who were coming home from school, maybe football practice, and they weren't gang members. And these gang members, they send these gang members out and say, take somebody's life, delete somebody as part of their initiation. See, while he's talking about Mexicans weren't represented, how about you address the stuff that Mexican gang members have been doing to black people in some of these communities that we were living in before you? Gang members sentenced to 13 years in prison after firebombing, attacking on black families. Apartments in the Ramona Gardens housing development. Any of y'all from Los Angeles? Put sevens in the chat room if you're from Los Angeles. The Ramona Gardens housing development were firebombed in 2014. So this incident happened in 2014. This one happened in July 7, 2016. Latino gang members firebombing black residents to drive them out of Baldwin Heights. Then you've got this one in Ramona Gardens in Los Angeles, California. If you're from Los Angeles, put them sevens in the chat room right now.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it. Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it. Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Tell the truth.
Apartments in the Ramona Gardens housing development were firebombed in 2014. Jose is one of the 8 members of a big hazardous street gang to be sentenced after pleading guilty to federal hate crimes. So they were doing it as hate to black people and trying to get black people out of this community that they wanted to take over. And as far as a lot of y'all don't realize this, I know this. There's been a green light on black folks in Los Angeles for a long time, coming all the way out of Mexico from the Mexican mafia. I know this because of the kind of work that I do. I'm not a police officer. I deal with guys in the prison system. I'm not any law enforcement, anything like that, but I deal with young black men, and I deal with gangs in the system, so I know how this operates. They've had a green light on us for years, but he ain't gonna talk. They're not gonna talk about that. They're gonna talk about there should have been Mexican representation on the stage, and Mexican people have been persecuted for many, many years, as if nobody in our community has never acknowledged that, or as if we don't recognize that, or as if that means that we don't respect the fact that they've gone through some things too. That concert in Inglewood, California, had nothing to do with punching down on Mexican people or saying that Mexican people hadn't had anything. Just like you heard him say, damn it, before I... Woo, I'm on one tonight, y'all. I'm on one tonight. I'm on one tonight.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Kendrick Lamar did a superb job in that concert, y'all. Boy, here we go.
Not being on stage, I'm saying like, Jeezy performed, I think, last night.
Yeah.
Did he?
That would have been nice if he would have been on stage.
If he would have.
Now, maybe the young legend had something to do, so he dipped.
Right, because all the artists that did perform were up there.
Facts.
I respect it. Who was up there? I can't keep count.
There was a lot of people that went, but I think Jeezy was the only
person that didn't pop out? Or were you gonna say he's the only Mexican that performed?
Both.
Did he perform? Was he supposed to perform?
He did perform, yeah.
He did
Oh, he
perform.
did?
Mhm.
And I
This
didn't
is
see
crazy,
him
y'all.
perform because I caught it late.
I saw
but
the clip.
I saw
I didn't even see that
a
clip. What the
picture
fuck?
of someone.
Thank you, everybody,
posting
for
that he
coming over.
performed.
Do you think it had something to do with it being Juneteenth?
I don't understand. I thought Juneteenth was like on the 16th or something like that. It's on June 19th.
It was Juneteenth yesterday.
Yeah, it was Juneteenth. Facts.
I respect it.
Do you think that had something to do with it?
Had something to do with what? The fact that they threw the show that day? Or that there was no Mexicans on stage?
There you go. Do you think it was supposed to be like...
First of all, let me start off by saying congratulations to Kendrick Lamar and all of the wonderful individuals that performed last night.
Hell yeah, shut him out.
So I'm not trying to go racial with it, but I will say,
But you
we're
are
just
going
picking each
racial.
other, like picking each other's brains apart.
although it was Juneteenth, and I believe that's in remembrance of the massacre. I don't want to be wrong, but is it in Tulsa or in Selma
I don't even know.
or a place
I don't
over there?
even know. And that's
I
the
could be
problem
wrong,
right
I
there.
hate to be
You don't know. They don't know anything about us, but want to have entitlement to what we're doing for ourselves.
wrong, but I know it's in remembrance of a massacre that took place, right? I'd like to say that the Mexican people have been persecuted in this wonderful land for a long, long, long time.
Mm.
And nobody said you hadn't been persecuted for a long time. But however, why don't you address the fact that for a number of years, some of your own people from Mexico, the gang members that have been in Los Angeles, have never been a friend to black people. Now, of course, we know that the Bloods and Crips had their battles with each other over the years, but hell, the Mexican gangs have never been any better to black people in Los Angeles either. I just wanted to make that point there. But let me go right quick. Let me do this. Let me check your thoughts in the chat room as we get ready to call it a night with the show. I really appreciate you all coming over to the Info Media Reacts. Let's go ahead and go right into the chat room and get your thoughts right now. I know y'all been waiting for me to do this. So let's get at it right now and see what you're saying. And let me go right here. Who killed Nipsey? Killed Tupac? Let me see. Who killed him? We know who killed him. A gang member. Yeah, a gang member. That's right. Just like I said, I brought up legitimate stories that there were Mexican gangs that were harming black people in those two communities. So the person that harmed Nipsey, from what they've told us, was a gang member. I know that already. Who harmed Tupac? Other gang members. I know that already. Thank you, sir. All right, moving on. Did he kill? Right. It still doesn't negate what the point of the show is tonight, which is black people came together. The gang members came together on that stage. Nobody was fighting. Nobody was battling it out against each other. And matter of fact, there's been a truce between the Bloods and the Crips for quite some time now. So it wasn't like, this past Juneteenth was the first time that they've come together. They've been coming together in Los Angeles for quite some time now. But the point is that it was Juneteenth. It was a celebration of black people's heritage coming out of slavery into Reconstruction, into what we have today. And if it wasn't for the sacrifices of black people who changed these laws, matter of fact, it was black people that were responsible that made it possible for people to come over here as immigrants as well. But nobody wants to touch on that issue. Moving on. Our unity scares the world. Yes, whenever black people, see, check this out. Thank you for saying that, sir, to God. If there would have been, check this out. If there would have been a fight, a stump out, breakout fight, somebody would have got deleted at that concert, somebody would have brandished a weapon and took someone's life, then everybody would be saying what? Oh, we can't get it. Black people can't get along. Now what they would have said, what people would have come out, with those guys on their podcast, what they've been focusing on, hey, there was no Mexican representation on that stage at that concert. Would they be saying that? No, they would be talking about, man, it's a damn shame that somebody got boom, somebody got this and that, right? But the minute that black people come together and there's no violence, no nothing, it's harmony, now everybody's got a problem. Because why? Because people are what do you call it? People are pre-exposed to believing and being conditioned through cultural conditioning that anything that's related to what black people do has to come with violence, fighting, something negative, stereotypes. And as long as we are not fighting each other, people feel uncomfortable about it. Now, I didn't want to get it. See, this is the thing. This channel was not supposed to be my, my soapbox channel. That's the Information Man Show channel that I have. That's my soapbox channel where I really get, this was supposed to be just cut and dry to the point. So I don't want, but you all get what I'm saying. And I appreciate your thoughts. Let's go right ahead. Let me see. You say the white manager lover boy. Anyway, we got my man Blue Exodus who puts a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Okay. Now you're going to be put in timeout. Timeout. There you go. Boom. Timeout for you. All right. Let me see here. Who do we have here? People act like half the crowd wasn't Mexican. Dell brought out his homies and yeah, look. I'm glad that you said that. There were Mexican people in the audience, right? There were. So it wasn't. Let's get something correct. We're not saying that, it was an all-black affair, which means only black people were allowed. It was a concert. That means that everybody was allowed to buy tickets. Yes, you had white people there, Mexican people were there, everybody was there. This is the thing. They felt that there should have been a Mexican rapper or more. They even said in that podcast that they believed that there was one Mexican rapper that was there, but they felt that it should have been more representation. I'm simply saying I understand that, but this wasn't a concert or a day in which they were trying to do multicultural. It wasn't a multicultural thing. Like I said, Mexican people have beautiful heritage. You have beautiful celebrations, but it's about your people. And it would be disrespectful of me to tell you that, hey, you better put me on the list of your celebration. You better have black represent. That would be disrespectful of me. That would be me not respecting your heritage and your culture. That's the point that I'm trying to make here. I'm not trying to punch down on Mexican people or hate. I'm saying I just think that it was wrong because you could see that they didn't even have their history right. They got the days wrong. They got Selma mixed up in there. They got the Tulsa, Oklahoma mixed up. They didn't even have the dates right or the actual incident correct. But yet tonight, I actually got the Cinco de Mayo history as example. I actually took enough time and gave enough respect to actually pull your history up. And even though I might not have said the Spanish words correctly, I still made a great effort to at least read off your history, the dates and the years properly without sitting up here trying to say it off the dome, not knowing what I'm talking about. That's the difference. Let's go back over here. We got Information Man background involves him staying on point with history. Do you understand? Thank you. This beach is better. Thank you. We've got That's Like Me telling Germans how to do. Germans have Oktoberfest. Do you hear anybody saying, I went to an Oktoberfest celebration and they had a lot of, they didn't have enough black representation. You go to a German Oktoberfest, what the hell you think you're going to have? You're going to have Germans playing their music, their accordions. They're going to have their dress and attire on. They're going to be united with one another. If you go to Italy, they have their ritual where they do the running of the bulls. And they dress a certain way with the red, scarves and the white outfits. And if you go over there, you got to respect their culture too. What do I look like going to Italy saying, y'all had an interesting running of the bull celebration, but I didn't see enough black people in the crowd. Even though you do have black people that live in, Italy too.
Tell the truth.
And born over there. We got Jose who says hip hop has no owner. Well, hip hop, you have to still recognize who first created. See, this is the thing. I'm 54 years old. I've been in hip hop for a very long time in terms of, when I say hip hop, in terms of breakdancing, strutting, and listening to the music. So I go all the way back to the Grandmaster Flash days and the Furious Five and all of that. I'm not no millennial or Z generation. And so the people who first created it, they looked like me. Because I remember there was a time when rap music was just getting started. A lot of other groups, a lot of other kids, they were like, what's this weird music? Black people were the main ones involved. Now, that doesn't mean that Puerto Ricans and Mexicans and those other folks of that nature didn't contribute, didn't take part, but they're not the architect of the music. We are. Rap music comes out of gospel, rhythm, and blues. Most of the music that everybody was scratching, most of the music that people were playing their rap music to, what was the music? It was R&B. It was James Brown. Everybody was using James Brown's bass line in their music. On the one. Who created On the One beat? The beats that you're using comes off the one beat from James Brown. A black man born in, Mississippi? Most of the bass runs in all of your music was created by R&B, funk artists, R&B artists, Motown, jazz. Blues. Those are the forefathers of the building blocks of the music. See, I'm going to repeat something I heard somebody say. It's not about who was at a party or who was dancing at a party. It's about the people that were making the music in the studio. So you can't just say, well, you got to think about who was in the studio producing the music, who was in the studio making the beats. Where did scratching come from? We talk about Grandmaster Flash, who used the chalk or the crayon on the album to find certain grooves to make a certain sound. Black people innovated this music. We were the architects of this music, and we're the architects of most music in America. Let me not even get into the African influence. When I say African, the African drum, which is the heartbeat. So please, you're not dealing with someone on this channel who hasn't lived some life and has experienced some things. Because I remember a time when I was breakdancing and doing all that strutting out there, and a lot of times I didn't see too many other ethnic groups joining in. Now the Puerto Ricans and Mexicans, they later on down the line joined in and contribute to the music genre. But architect, that's black folks. That's funk. That's soul. We're the ones who created funk and soul, jazz that was stolen from us, rhythm and blues, R&B, that come from black people. Motown, that's black folks. That's black Americans. Even Bob Marley was influenced by Motown. Before he had the locks in his hair, he was trying to do doo-wop singing before he decided to go into where his career actually made him a big star. Prior to that, Bob Marley and the Wailers, they were trying to be a doo-wop group. They were wearing suits, and they were trying to emulate what they saw the Motown singers do. And Kool Herc, who they say is the architect of the music, he's Jamaican. Remember, when Kool Herc came over to America, he didn't bring Jamaican toast. He got influenced by black Americans when he was living in the neighborhood. He got influenced, which innovated what he did with the DJing, and he gave the B-boys a place to break dance when he was starting. So he's noted as being a person who gave a vehicle to B-boys before you had a lot of rappers, a place to dance and strut and do all their stuff, when he opened the doors to providing that party atmosphere. But he was influenced by Black Americans when he came over here. Let's not get that mixed up. Let's go to someone else. I did not like Eric Clapton. Let's see. Who do we got here coming in the house? People rocking with us tonight. In Florida was a free state. Interesting. Larry Foreman says, in Florida was a free state. Big Country comes in and says this. I'm old enough to remember Sugar Hill. Yeah, Sugar Hill Gang. Let's keep this in mind. Sugar Hill Gang they obviously were the first commercial rap album that was cut in a studio and put out there in New York. But they weren't well respected by the local rappers that were rapping before them. They weren't, that album that they came out with, a lot of rappers, people in the streets, in the community, they didn't really respect that song. And matter of fact, DJ Cass, if I'm saying his name correct, who was one of the first, if not the first, was he the first MC? He said that those guys stole that song or stole lyrics from that song from DJ Cass, that DJ Cass was ripped off by them, which is another reason why that group, that song was not well respected by those in the grassroots level of rap music in the New York area. Tell me I'm not telling the damn truth. Okay?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
And I'm gonna tell it.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Okay, Mexicans should find a rapper to unite. Well, there are Mexican rappers, and that's why I said tonight that it would be great to see them do a celebration around their culture and bring all the top Mexican and Chicano rappers together and let them do their thing. I think that'd be wonderful. I think it'd be great. Let me see. Let's see. Joe says, you guys are puppets for... Oh, stop it. Stop it. You're trolling. You're trolling. You just stop it. Stop it, man. Go get go get a drink and relax yourself tonight. Let's see. While you all were in court fighting to be white, we were creating... No. Check this out. Now check this out. Big E. I hate to say this, but I got to say this. I got to tell the truth.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
It is true that you do have some people that are Latino, Hispanic, or La Raza, or Mexican. There are some of them that do put white when they fill out applications. They will. I even have someone at my job that even admitted that to me, and she's Mexican, that they will put white. Now, I'm not saying that to denigrate. I'm just saying I have had people that I know that are Mexican or Latino that have identified with white. I'm just saying. No hate, no nothing like that, but I'm just laying out the things that do happen in real life. The title drew me in. Okay, thank you for coming over. Thank you for coming over. A clap to everybody in the chat room. Don H says they put white on their application. Yeah. I mentioned that's something that does happen. We got my man FBA for life, who says Curtis Blow. Yeah, Curtis Blow. You had the Fat Boys. Remember the Fat Boys? Man, there's so many people. Curtis Blow. You had the Fat Boys. You had Roxanne. Remember Roxanne? That whole battle with UTF. Ooh, man, we're talking about some classic stuff that came. Man, let's not deny the classic stuff. Oh, Jonathan Kidd. Jonathan Kidd, let me mod you up, brother, if I can. I got to find you. Let me see. There we go. There you go, brother. You modded up. So Jonathan Kidd, this is my other channel. It originally was called Information Man Speaks Podcast, and I rebranded it to Info Media Reacts. I'll be doing reaction videos, and you might have missed some of the stuff I did in the beginning, so make sure you watch the replay when you get a chance, my brother. But welcome to the mod crew on this channel. Definitely trust you as a mod, brother. You've been very supportive of me on the other channel. But everything that I do on this channel will be different from the first channel. I'll be doing more straightforward reactions and stuff on here. Tonight, I've been getting into a little bit of a soapbox here, which is really what I like to do mostly on the other channel and keep this not a little bit different, but it's going to be different over here on this channel. We're going to be rocking and rolling over here. So I appreciate you coming over. Mike B, welcome to the mod up squad here as well. Let's see what this sister is saying right here. She said arrogance, jealousy. Other races always feel entitled to everything that blacks create. Don't know or care what Juneteenth is, but made you. Let me check this out for some of y'all. Let me put this back up for this sister. Let me put this back up. Check this out.
No, yeah. So basically, I feel like the Mexican people were underrepresented there.
I can see that.
I can see that too, man. But
And a lot of people are telling me that I sound like bitter or something. Like, I'm not a rapper, fool. I'm not tripping about not being on stage. I'm saying, like, oh, Jeezy performed, I think, last
That's dope.
night.
Yeah.
did he?
That would have been nice if he would have been on
Oh,
stage.
if he would have.
Now, maybe the young legend had something to do, so
Right.
he dipped.
Right. Because all the artists that did perform were up there.
Facts.
I respect it. Who was up there? I can't keep count.
There was a lot of people that went, but I think Jeezy was the only.
Person that didn't pop out? Or were you gonna say he's the only Mexican that performed?
Both.
Did he perform? Was he supposed to perform?
He did perform, yeah.
Did
Oh, he
perform?
did?
Mhm.
And I didn't see him perform because I caught it late.
I saw
but
the clip.
I saw
I didn't even see that
a
clip. What the
picture
fuck?
of someone posting that he performed.
Do you think it had something to do with it being Juneteenth?
I don't understand. I thought Juneteenth was like on the 16th or something like that. It's on June 19th.
It was Juneteenth yesterday.
Yeah, it was Juneteenth. Facts.
Totally oblivious to our history, but will let you know very clearly about their history, which, by the way, they have every right. Everybody has every right to rock their history, talk about their history, and put it out there. Everybody has a right to do that, as long as you're not infringing on, people. But
Do you think that had something to do with it?
Had something to do with what? The fact that they threw the show that day? Or that there was no Mexicans on stage?
There you go. Do you think it was supposed to be like?
First of all, let me start off by saying congratulations to Kendrick Lamar and all of the wonderful individuals that performed last night.
Hell yeah, shut him up.
So I'm not trying to go racial with it, but I will say,
Oh, we're just picking each other's brains apart.
although it was Juneteenth, and I believe that's in remembrance of the massacre.
oh God,
I don't want to be wrong, but is it in
You are
Tulsa
wrong.
or in Selma
you are
I
wrong.
don't even know.
or a place
Completely.
over there?
Set up. I don't even really know. I think it's in remember.
I could be wrong, and I hate to be wrong, but I know it's in remembrance of a massacre that took place, right?
No, not a massacre.
I'd like to say that the Mexican people have been persecuted in this wonderful land for a long time.
Mm.
So right there, sister,
No, yeah,
that
so
makes
basically, I feel like
what you just
the
said
Mexican people
relevant.
were underrepresented.
This is why what you just said is relevant, because it's obvious that they don't really care. They got everything mixed up. And after saying that he thinks it's a massacre or something of that nature, he then turns around and talks about how Mexican people were persecuted, when nobody has ever denied that Mexican people have gone through something. They didn't go through slavery. And I already said tonight, remember, the Mexicans, before they ended slavery in Mexico, they had black people in Mexico as slaves. And they treat black Mexicans in Mexico like garbage. Not to mention, they treat the indigenous, which will be the people that's really related to the Aztecs and the Mayans, they treat them like garbage too. But we're not saying that they didn't have some trials and tribulations, but you see what he did is he literally, at the same time he praises Kendrick Lamar, why he praises Kendrick Lamar, he underestimates and undervalues what Juneteenth means to black people by now saying, well, we were punished badly. Well, then make a holiday recognizing what was happening to you, man. That's all. Make a holiday. Lobby your politicians. Do what you got to do. Nobody's stopping you. Nobody's stopping you from getting recognized for the things. And every year we recognize Cinco de Mayo. It's matter of fact, we get the day off. I believe if you're a state worker in California, I think you get the day off. In celebration. And they have every right to show their colors, promote their culture. Every right. Nobody's stopping you. Every right. Let's go back to the chat room. Mexicans would have flipped the show with a low D level. Nah, you get Cesar Chavez. Yeah, Cesar Chavez. And check this out. That's an incredible history. Cesar Chavez and what he did for the farm workers. We learned that history in California. We learned that history. I have enough sense to know that to at least be aware of who Cesar Chavez is and how he united the farm workers against the oppression of how they were being treated. I have enough sense to recognize and respect that history. I wouldn't sit up there and say, let's say on Cesar Chavez Day, I'm not going to sit up here on my podcast and say, well, black people, check this out. I could go there. You want me to go there? Let's say, you know what? Black people worked in the fields. We worked on plantations. And guess what? We didn't get paid. We didn't have no damn union. Black folks didn't get paid. See, this is my Information Man show coming out. This is not what I wanted to do on this channel. But y'all making me do this. Black people worked and did domestic work. All the domestic work that Latinos and Mexican, or let me say this, that Spanish-speaking people do. Black people were doing those jobs even before you. All right, when we were built, when we were made to build this country under duress. I'm going to say it again. We were made to build this country under duress, pressure, oppression, slavery, which you know nothing about. And prior to Spanish-speaking people coming to this country and working in farms, we were working on plantations where if you didn't pick enough cotton, you would get whipped by the master. They would whip you. They would harm you. And we didn't get paid no wages. There was no individual leading us and saying, hey, these black slaves need more wages and better work conditions and so on and so forth. No, because we were slaves. We didn't get paid a dime for working the land in this country before you got here and start doing it yourself. Before you got here and start working in farms, black people were the ones in those fields picking cotton, picking food, vegetables, picking things with our backs in the hot sun in the South. We were the ones doing that work. We were the ones that were the janitors and the domestic workers in the household of white people's houses. And our people didn't get paid a wage. Now, what did Cesar Chavez do for Mexican people in California in particular, but for farm workers? He was fighting for them to get better wages, fighting for them to get better condition, better treatment. But this is the difference. They weren't slaves. They weren't made. They had a choice. They could either go back home where they came from, or they could choose some other opportunity. But of course they couldn't because they didn't have education. They were poor. So that's the only thing that they could do at the time. But this is the difference. You came over here with your shoes on your feet, clothes on your back and you made a choice to come over here to work in farms, to take a low wage when black folks were brought over here in shackle slavery, made to work land from sun up to sundown, no wages. They gave us the worst food to eat. And if we got out of line, they could whip us. And they were also doing what? Molesting our women and our children. And they also said, wherever you go, you might be in need of a green. You may say, hey, let's get a green card so that you can identify yourself as a person who has a green card here in America. But there was a time when black people had to show papers that they were free or they were still slaves. If you would go somewhere, they would say, let us see your papers, boy. And if your papers didn't say that you was free, they could do anything they could to you. And sometimes they didn't even give a damn if you were free. And and this is another thing, when black people escaped from the South working in those plantations to the North, you had slave catchers that would go up north and capture us. You also had slave patrols, which end up being what we call policing today. See, y'all didn't go through all of that. Y'all didn't have nobody putting you in shackle slavery, taking advantage of your, and you also didn't have people on the farm selling off your mother, your father, your children, or your wife. They would sell black people's families to other plantations. When you had a baby, they would sell that baby into slavery into another plantation. Y'all never had any of that stuff working in farms, in the farm fields. Y'all never experienced that. So if we want to go there tick for tat about who had an oppression, ooh, I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go like this tonight. But y'all.
I'd like to say that the Mexican people have been persecuted in this wonderful land for a long, long, long time.
Mm.
Right. Y'all was persecuted in this land for a long, long time, but you didn't go through what we went through. I just named a small number of things that we went through working on plantations, not as looking for work as slaves. Two different things. Can't nobody in that chat room, nobody listening to this podcast debate with anything that I just said, because it's a historical fact. Wolf is in the house. The Lone Wolf says this. What's going on, Lone Wolf? Let's go right here. I have a bad feeling are going to start trying to claim June. Oh, my goodness. Nah, Juneteenth is uniquely a black. What's going on, Mike B? It's uniquely us. I just think that I just think people, when they saw the rap concert, they see it more as, we didn't get no shine on stage. The hell with your Juneteenth. It's about us getting shine on your stage. Let's see. Mexican rap music nails on a chalkboard, D-level original. Okay. Let's see what we got here. We got Southern Breeze says not just slaves, but chattel slavery. Yes, sister, I talked about that. Chattel slavery. We got my man, check out my man Bronx Flat Power Guy. He got a great channel. He says Mexicans don't have no soul in there. Well, the soul comes out of our music. We got Craig R. What's going on, Craig R? What's going on? It's been a minute since I've seen you, Craig R. What's going on, brother? Craig R says they were persecuted. They still keep coming. Maybe they should stay. They ask.
Tell the truth.
Okay. Oh, man. See, I didn't want to get lit up on this. This channel is supposed to be a little bit more sophisticated over here on this channel, and I'm getting out of my scope. But let me see. Cleveland or Barney says this: we love you all, but why do you have to match hate for hate? I'm not matching hate for hate. I'm simply just saying, I'm not matching hate for hate. I have said several times tonight that Mexican people have the right to their celebrations. This isn't about punching down. This is about why do you have to question why there wasn't black representation at a concert that was a Juneteenth concert that represents black community, and you had the black community come together in Los Angeles, California at Inglewood Forum. And instead of talking about how the street organizations were there, nobody was fighting, there was no fight, there was love in the air, and it was Juneteenth, so therefore that's why you got mostly black representation more than anything else. And the first thing that people can say out of their mouth is this?
The Mexican people were underrepresented there last night.
I feel it. I can see that.
I can see that too, man. But
And a lot of people are telling me that I sound like bitter or something. Like, I'm not a rapper, fool. I'm not tripping about not being on stage. I'm saying, like, oh, Jeezy performed, I think, last
Dope.
night.
Yeah.
did he?
That would have been nice if he would have been on
Oh,
stage.
if he would have.
Now, maybe the young legend had something to do, so
Right.
he dipped.
Right. Because all the artists that did perform were up there.
Facts.
I respect it. Who was up there? I can't keep count.
There was a lot of people that went, but I think Jeezy was the only.
Person that didn't pop out? Or were you going to say he's the only Mexican that performed?
Both.
Did he perform? Was he supposed to perform?
He did perform, yeah.
Did
Oh, he
perform?
did?
Mhm.
And I didn't see him perform because I caught it late.
I saw
but
the clip.
I saw
I didn't even see that
a
clip. What the
picture
fuck?
of someone posting that he performed.
Do you think it had something to do with it being Juneteenth?
I don't understand. I thought Juneteenth was like on the 16th or something like that. It's on June 19th.
It was Juneteenth yesterday.
Yeah, it was Juneteenth. Facts.
I respect it.
Do you think that had something to do with it?
Had something to do with what? The fact that they threw the show that day? Or that there was no Mexicans on stage?
There you go. Do you think it was supposed to be like?
First of all, let me start off by saying congratulations to Kendrick Lamar and all of the wonderful individuals that performed last night.
Hell yeah, shut him out.
So I'm not trying to go racial with it, but I will say,
We're just picking each other's brains apart.
although it was Juneteenth, and I believe that's in remembrance of the massacre. I don't want to be wrong, but is it in Tulsa or in Selma?
I don't even know.
He says, although, as if that's secondary. As if it's secondary, y'all.
Or a place over there? I could be wrong, and I hate to be wrong, but I know it's in remembrance of a massacre that took place, right? I'd like
Wrong.
to say that the Mexican people have been persecuted in this wonderful land for a long, long, long time.
Mm.
So there it is. The point being is that he tried to marginalize, although it's Juneteenth, and then he has it wrong. He has it completely wrong. But the true premise was that there wasn't any Mexican people, or he didn't feel that there was enough Mexican representation. Instead of just, he says he supports Kendrick and all of that. But at the same time, the flip side of it is that you could tell he had a problem with the fact that there wasn't enough Mexican representation when this celebration and this whole concert was wrapped around Juneteenth, and he tried to marginalize the aspect of Juneteenth to the situation, you see. And that's where the disrespect, from my point of view, that's where the disrespect starts. Instead of focusing on the fact that black people came together, there was no drama, right? And this is the thing, for those of you out there who disagree with me, how would you feel if you all are celebrating Cinco de Mayo? And Cinco de Mayo, or the 5th of May, is a holiday that celebrates the date of the Mexican army's May 5th, 1862 victory over, I believe, France at the Battle of Perbo. I can't pronounce that. I don't speak Spanish, so I'm respectfully apologizing for that. During the France-Mexican War, the day which falls on Sunday, May 5th, 2024, is also known as a Battle of Pueblo, which Pueblo, I think, means in Mexican, in Spanish, should I say, in Spanish. Let me correct that. In Spanish, I believe, means town, if I'm not mistaken. While it is a relatively minor holiday in Mexico, in Mexico, they don't really celebrate it on a high level like we do here in the States. The United States Cinco de Mayo has evolved into a Mexican culture, heritage, particularly in the areas where you have a large Mexican-American population. So here's my point. If you all get together and you're celebrating your heritage, your people, and let's say you have rappers who happen to be Mexican, then I would think it would be disrespectful for me as someone who's not Mexican to say there just wasn't enough black representation in that Cinco de Mayo celebration. Even though we know that you have black Mexicans in Mexico who are treated very poorly. Let's not deny these facts.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
But it would be, I think it would be disrespectful for me to say something like that and then turn around and say, well, you know, Cinco de Mayo, I think it's got to do with some day that there was a massacre or some, and then I show no reverence to your celebration. I undervalue it. I get it all mixed up with this and that, and then turn around and say, well, yeah, you guys are having Cinco de Mayo, or you're having this celebration that's part of your culture, but, you know, black people, you know, but we suffer from many. I wouldn't need to say something like that. I would clearly recognize that it's a celebration of your culture and would respect it for what it stands for. Just that simple. But the fact that these guys didn't, you heard it, the fact that these guys didn't really know the history, it speaks to how poor our educational system is in this country. It speaks to how poor the educational system is in Los Angeles, particularly at the high school level. It shows you that they don't teach nobody's history in these damn schools. And if we don't know each other's history and what we've been through, then you can't expect people to respect people, right? I can't expect him to respect the Juneteenth because he don't know it. Even if I didn't like what he said, what they said, at the same time, it's an example that he don't know the history. And it shows that that's part of the problem. When people don't know each other's history, then it's hard to respect each other's celebrations, each other's rituals. It's hard to respect one another when you don't know what one another has contributed to this place we call America. Particularly black Americans, because we, out of all the people in this country, we are the only ones in this country who didn't arrive here. We did not arrive here on our own. Our people were put in shackle slavery and made to work this land for over 400 years, you see. And out of that came Jim Crow, where we were segregated and weren't allowed to do certain things in this society. We were second-class, third-class citizens. Fought in every war this country's ever had, from the Revolutionary War to the Revolutionary War, Civil War, World War I, World War II, Korean War, every war from the very beginning, to the rooter to the tutor.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth.
And most of the laws that protect this word that people like to use a lot, particularly the politicians, the people of color, recognizing that most of the laws that you're benefiting from were the laws that my people got our backs broken to get. You wouldn't have you wouldn't have a Cinco de Mayo being recognized if it wasn't for the civil rights movement opening up the door for these things to happen, which other groups benefit from as well. Meaning, when I say Cinco de Mayo, I mean it being like now recognized as a day, or Cesar Chavez being recognized. That has a lot to do with the work of civil rights leaders like Dr. King paving the groundwork. See, nobody wants to deal with this real talk.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Why are you explaining yourself so apologetically? Conversation is getting. Nah, I'm trying to add my sister, the self-care calf. Much respect to you, sister. I'm just trying to add context to the points that I'm making. But I'm going to move forward, my sister. Man, I've never seen Dr. King school, even a lot of Cesar Chavez schools. And yeah, I don't know where this, well, you know what? Is Berkeley, California, Berkeley, California has 2 schools, I believe, named after Malcolm X. They got a junior high named after Malcolm X, or elementary school. They might have a school in Berkeley, because Berkeley, California is one of the most, people call it the most radical place in California, in the country, because they actually celebrate Malcolm X's birthday, and you get the day off in Berkeley, California. That's the truth.
Tell the truth.
Yeah, please don't forget to hit the likes. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. I appreciate you all. And what's going on, my sister? Lisa says what? What's going on? It's good to see you over here. We got my man, we got Black. Let me see. Black says this. Civil rights gave them right to exist here. My people put in that work, and these people are ungrateful and disrespectful. Wow. Let me see what my sister's saying here. She says, that's so true. I've never seen an MLK school either. Right. You know what? I'm going to do some research on that, but there might be somewhere in this country. I've never seen it. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Berkeley might have one, but I'm not sure. I've seen the Malcolm X schools, but I have not seen you guys are making good points in there. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. Let me see. Berkeley is a city that borders the city of Oakland, California. Right. I actually worked in Berkeley for many years when I was in college. And I also lived in Oakland for about a 10 dime. So I'm very familiar with the Bay Area. We got Chauncey Johnson, who just came in the house, who says, Kendrick brought people together. Why be negative about it? Right.
Tell the truth.
Right. Sue Young says, Frisco, Lucas, SM, they're dumb conversations we have to have. Yeah, it's not like I wanted to have this. It's not like I knew I had to respond to this video when I discovered it, like everybody else has, or some people have on X. So I knew I had to make this discussion tonight, and I'm so glad that you all came over to join the conversation and join the channel. We got my man Jonathan Kidd in the house, who says we have King High School. Okay, wait a minute. All right. So Jonathan Kidd just put in the chat room, y'all, that they have a high school named after Dr. King in Chicago. He says it's called King High School. Make sure you guys Google that so you can get a look at what that school looks like. That's fantastic news. We got this sister here, the kid 730. How you doing, sister? She said King Drew Medical Magnet High School in Compton, named after Dr. Thank you again. I really appreciate you putting that in the chat room like that. Wow. So the sister says right here, we got King Drew Medical Magnet High School in Compton, named after Dr. King and Charles Drew. And Charles Drew is a black man who invented blood plasma. He invented blood plasma but he died because he could not get the very treatment that he invented himself, which was blood plasma, because they would not take him to a white. This is what black people went through. Okay, let's keep it real. They would not let him go to a white hospital. Remember, there was a time in this country that we were segregated, Jim Crow, right? You had white hospitals, you had black hospitals. And if you were sick and there was a white hospital, they wouldn't take you there. They would have to take you across town to the black hospital, or the hospital that serves black people. And Dr. Drew, if I've got this correct, he died as a result of them trying to get him to the hospital that serves black people. But because it was too far, he didn't make it because they refused to take him to the hospital that was for white people. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Malik the Greek, what's going on? Mike, you just made a assumption. Larry says this: if we leave and take everything we made. Oh, well, if black people were to disappear today, or we would have disappeared years ago, this country would be in a world of trouble. Oh, what's going on? Yeah, medical apartheid. Thank you. This is one of my mod. You should be a mod. Is this Tiffany Jackson? Let me make sure that I'll have to double check and make sure I mod you up if you're not modded up. But Tiffany, thank you for coming over. Good to see you, my sister. Channel is great. Lone Wolf said channel is great. Thank you. Okay. We've got Montez, Amonte. I don't know if I'm saying this correct, but if I'm messing up your name, I apologize. I'm Mexican from Texas, and this is the first I heard of this Mexicans are upset. Well, no, it's not all. Let me correct something. I'm not saying it's all Mexicans, but it was a particular group of Mexican guys on a podcast that said this. Now, I don't know. I'm not saying that it was all Mexicans in Los Angeles. No, I'm not saying that. But these guys certainly said something that rung a chord, okay? And so I don't know how many other Mexicans in Los Angeles feel the same way that they felt on the podcast. But I'm not saying all Mexicans, but the Mexicans on the podcast, certainly those, I want to say this correct. Those men who happen to be Mexican on this podcast were the ones that were saying this type of stuff. Okay. Yeah, just Google, and you, Mike B, you're telling the truth. Google and find out. Right. Let's see right here. We've got the whole planet would not last. Correct. Okay, we got Caesar Cruz says, thank you for reading my comments. I felt something like these statements in the clip coming, saying that most I'm not saying that most, I'm not saying all Mexicans. I'm just saying the guys that were in that podcast. So I just want to clarify that. But who knows? There could be other people who felt the same way that they felt, but we don't know who they are. I'm not saying it's all people, though, that happen to be of Mexican heritage and ancestry. But certainly those guys on that podcast made their feelings known. Ashley Williams says, they're not like us. All right. Just joining the live, let me get it right. The Mexican felt unrepresented at a Juneteenth event. Right. Let me play the video again, because I know there's people coming in who probably haven't seen. Well, maybe you have seen this video, maybe you haven't. But for you, brother, we're gonna do it one more time. Let it all the way through. Check this out.
No, yeah. So basically, I feel like the Mexican people were underrepresented there. last night.
I feel it. I can see that.
I can see that too, man. But
And a lot of people are telling me that I sound like bitter or something. Like, I'm not a rapper, fool. I'm not tripping about not being on stage. I'm saying, like, oh, Jeezy performed, I think, last
That's dope.
night.
Yeah.
did he?
That would have been nice if he would have been on
Oh,
stage.
if he would have.
Now, maybe the young legend had something to do, so
Right.
he dipped.
Right. Because all the artists that did perform were up there.
Facts.
I respect it. Who was up there? I can't keep count.
There was a lot of people that went, but I think Jeezy was the only.
Person that didn't pop out? Or were you going to say he's the only Mexican that performed?
Both.
Did he perform? Was he supposed to perform?
He did perform, yeah.
Did
Oh, he
perform?
did?
Mhm.
And I didn't see him perform because I caught it late.
I saw
but
the clip.
I saw
I didn't even see that
a
clip. What the
picture
fuck?
of someone posting that he performed.
Do you think it had something to do with it being Juneteenth?
I don't understand.
Mm.
I thought Juneteenth was like on the 16th or something like that. It's on June 19th.
It was Juneteenth yesterday.
You hear that?
That was Juneteenth. Facts.
I respect it.
Do you think that had something to do with it?
Had something to do with what? The fact that they threw the show that day? Or that there was no Mexicans on stage?
There you go. Do you think it was supposed to be like?
First of all, let me start off by saying congratulations to Kendrick Lamar and all of the wonderful individuals that performed last night.
Hell yeah, shout him out.
So I'm not trying to go racial with it, but I will say,
Oh, we're just picking each other, like picking each other's brains apart.
although it was Juneteenth,
Although, here it comes, everybody. Although it was Juneteenth, which he couldn't get it right about what happened or what Juneteenth represents. He's all over the place. He's talking about Selma on the Pettis Bridge, where Dr. King and many others got their heads banged in, trying to walk to the Capitol there over the Voters' Right Bill of 1965 that black people fought hard to get, which other people benefit from. I could go all night with this. Although, but still, here we go.
I believe that's in remembrance of the massacre.
No,
I don't want to be wrong, but is it in Tulsa?
You are
Or
wrong.
in Selma?
I don't even know.
Or a place over there?
I don't even know.
I could be wrong.
Stop it. This is the problem with our educational system. They don't teach.
And I hate to be wrong, but I know it's in remembrance of a massacre that took place, right? I like to say that the Mexican people have been persecuted in this wonderful land for a long, long, long time.
Mm.
Let me tell you something that I notice. When I hear him say that, I don't deny that they haven't had their share of hardship, but I almost feel like he's trying to say we have been persecuted for a long, long time. It's almost like a one-up, like he's trying to say that, hey, you know, what about us? Because we actually been the ones that's been persecuted more than black people. It's almost like he's trying to say that by saying that for many, many. That's how it comes off in a certain way. What do you all think? Let me go back to the chat room and give your thoughts again. Tiffany Jackson's in the house. Let me make sure. Tiffany, yeah, I do have you modded up. Thank God. Okay, Tiffany says, I don't even know, but I feel entitled to speak on it, though. And then we got my man, let me see if I can, I probably can't pronounce your name properly, so I'm not even going to try to jack it up, my brother. But you say, whoa, obviously, so you saw the video that I played. I did that especially for you, brother. So he says, whoa, obviously they're speaking out of term and don't know what's going on. Thank you. Thank you, brother.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
And I'm going to tell it. They're speaking out of term and don't know what's going on. Hopefully they'll take this situation and learn from it. I would agree.
Tell the truth.
I would agree. We can all learn from things that we say that are not correct, right? We can all learn. It's called Whose Trauma is Worse? Exactly.
Tell the truth.
And then we got This Beach is Better. is in the house. What's going on, sister? Let me give you a clap. 0608. She says, tell the truth.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
And I'm going to tell it tonight. Oh, Sugar Love. Make sure y'all check out Sugar Love's channel. She does great content. She does reaction videos too, quite a bit over there. Great channel. She always shouts me out when I come over to her channel and give me love. So give Sugar Love some love as well. And she says, welcome to everyone's new to the channel. Yeah, welcome. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. The whole
Tell the
9
truth.
yard.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
I appreciate that, everybody. I appreciate that. Clap to y'all. Peace. All right, here we go. We got C Queen Beloved is in the house. She says, it's never been black and brown, only when they need to use us for their gain. Interesting.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
All right. Smith is in the house. Smith says this is clean to watch. I'm getting angry the more I hear it. They sound so idiotic, speaking on a culture they know nothing about.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
We got Rob in the house who says, no jumper is trying to start Mexicans versus black beef. I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Okay, here we go. Why would Mexicans feel underrepresented at a Juneteenth concert? They were not in the field with us or fighting for our freedom. Interesting, and I got to give you this, brother.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
This is Big Black Crypto, who's just come in the house and made those statements right there. Welcome to the channel as well. Thank you, everybody who's here. Big Mike. Mike B. What's going on, Mike B? Earl says they stick with whites to go against blacks in prison. Oh, I know a little bit about that. What I know about that situation is that usually this is how it works. I know about it because I deal with it. So you have the Nathaniels and the Serranos. The Nathaniels will unite with the black gangs, Crips, Bloods, Black Guerrilla Family, what have you. They will unite with them because their common enemy is who? The Serranos. The Nathaniels don't get along with the Serranos, who are the Southern Mexicans, and the Nathaniels are the Northern Mexicans. So they both don't like each other, even though they're both Mexican or they're both Latino, La Raza, whatever you want to call it. They're both Spanish speaking in some cases or Mexican, but they don't like each other because of one's in the South, one's in the North. But I think the rumor that I heard, it was over some type of beef that had something to do with some boot or something that happened in prison between Northern and Southern Hispanics that caused this rip. So the Northern Hispanics will unite with the black gangs. It's all over who's going to control the prison, who's going to control the drug trade that flows in the prison. Okay? And so they will unite with the black gangs to unite. Check this out. The Serranos, who are the Southern Hispanic gang, they will unite with our enemy, which would be the Aryan Brotherhood. You see how this works? So the Aryan Brotherhood, who wants to control the drugs flow and control the prison, they unite with the Serranos because the Serranos have a common enemy, which is the Northern Hispanics, which are the Nathaniels. And then the black gangs have a common enemy, which is the Aryan Brotherhood, and the Aryan Brotherhood has a common enemy, which is the black gangs. You see how this works? And so they both battle each other over who's going to have full supremacy and control over the prison, therefore the control of drugs and resources in the prison. And then you have your disruptive groups. What are the disruptive groups? The disruptive groups are the groups on the ground in the community, which are the street gangs. So in LA, you have the 18th Street gangs, you have the Bloods and the Crips, right? And so when they come, so there's a difference between street gangs and prison gangs. When they come into prison, they must adhere to who controls the gang structure in prison. So they fall under one umbrella. At one point in time, it would be the Black Guerrilla family that the Bloods and the Crips would have to fall under as the leadership in the prison. Then you have the Aryan Brotherhood and all the white gang members in the streets, the Nazi lowriders, all the different gang members on the streets. The white gangs would come into prison and they would fall under the leadership of the Aryan Brotherhood. But on the streets, they are the disruptive groups, meaning they're the ones that run the drugs. So when you have the Mexican mafia in Mexico, they use the gangs, the street gangs, to sell the drugs. They are their what? Soldiers. They follow orders, stay to a strict discipline, fighting over territory, which is why I'm going to bring this up again, whether you like it or not. This is why this happened in July 7th, 2016, where you had Latino gang members firebombing black residents to drive them out of Baldwin Heights Project. Prosecutors alleged this back then. But then prior to that, you had this incident, gang members sentenced to 13 years in prison after firebombing and attacking black families, where apartments in Ramona Gardens housing development were firebombed in 2014. Okay. Jose, I can't say the other name, is one of 8 members of the Big Hazard Street Gang to be sentenced after pleading guilty to federal hate crimes. Okay. So what happened? Why did this happen? Because the gangs, who have a green light from Mexico, from the Mexican mafia, they want territory. They want to control territory. They want to control the streets. They want to control the drugs. And that's how it goes. And they want to get your ass off the block. That's how it works. I'm just giving you a small snippet. It goes even deeper than that. You see, it goes even deeper than that. Just to keep it real with you all. Let's go back into the chat room, shall we? Did y'all hear everything that I said? Did y'all hear what I said? We got light music says very informational. Thank you. They are our enemies, Don H says. We got Money Boy Fims who comes in the house saying peace and love to everyone. What's going on, Money Boy Fims? What's up? I changed the channel. This used to be the Information Man Speaks podcast channel. I changed it to Info Media Reacts. I'll be reacting to various video clips and various things I'll be bringing in the coming weeks and days and months, and we're gonna blow this thing up over here. Another thing, this channel will be much different from my first channel, the Information Man Show, that many people know me by on the YouTube streets. But over here, we're gonna do a whole different thing. Now, I've been getting into a soapbox with you guys, with everybody tonight, which is really what I do on the first channel. I didn't really want to make this channel where I'm overly soapboxing, but given the circumstances of tonight and everybody coming through, I have to do it. Let me see. We got this brother right here. I believe Willie. I hope I'm saying the name right. Willie says, what was the podcast being talked about at the beginning? Okay, let me play it for you. I believe in being transparent. Let's play it from the beginning. Now, you know what? I got to be honest. It's a clip. It's a 2-minute and 12-minute clip from the podcast. I don't know what the other conversations that they were having, but I do know that this conversation, where they said what they said right here, it was pretty obvious where they were coming from. So here we go.
No, yeah. So basically, I feel like the Mexican people were underrepresented there last night.
I feel it. I can see that.
Talking about the Kendrick Lamar Juneteenth
And a lot
concert.
of people are telling me that I sound like bitter or something. Like, I'm not a rapper, fool. I'm not tripping about not being on stage. I'm saying, like, oh, Jeezy performed, I think, last night.
Yeah.
Did he?
That would have been nice if he would have been on stage.
If he would have.
Now, maybe the young legend had something to do, so he dipped.
Right. Because all the artists that did perform were up there.
Facts.
I respect it. Who was up there? I can't keep count.
There was a lot of people that went, but I think Jeezy was the only.
Person that didn't pop out? Or were you gonna say he's the only Mexican that performed?
Both.
Did he perform? Was he supposed to perform?
He did perform, yeah.
Did
Oh, he
perform?
did?
Mhm.
And I didn't see him perform because I caught it late.
I saw
but
the clip.
I saw
I didn't
Thank
even see
you.
that
a
clip. What the
picture
fuck?
of someone posting that he performed.
Do you think it had something to do with it being Juneteenth?
I don't understand. I thought Juneteenth was like on the 16th or something like that.
Here
It's
we
on
go.
June 19th.
It was Juneteenth.
Miss
Yeah,
Williams,
Juneteenth.
thank you for the $5 super
respect
chat.
it.
I
Do you
appreciate
think that had
that.
something to do with it?
Had something to do with what? The fact that they threw the show that day? Or that there was no Mexicans on stage?
There you go. Do you think it was supposed to be like?
First of all, let me start off by saying congratulations to Kendrick Lamar and all of the wonderful individuals that performed last night.
Hell yeah, shut him up.
So I'm
Let
not trying
me,
to go racial with it, but I will say
We're just
Let me just stop this right here. We have a message from the Mexican American media. They say, or he says, or she says, whoever they are, but yeah, there's a racial tension in Southern California. Thank you. It's been racial tension in Southern California, unfortunately, between Black and Latinos for a very long time. We have to recognize, matter of fact, let's not forget about what happened in the city government when they caught the, I got to be honest, y'all don't know who y'all messing with.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna
I did a video about it on the other channel. Remember what happened in the city government in Los Angeles where they were caught on, man, should I pull the audio out? They got caught on audio talking about the black people. We got the numbers. Remember, man, don't. Remember, you had the representatives, there was 3 of them. And they were they were at first refusing to step down. And they got caught on video talking cheesy about black people and talking cheesy about a black child, calling it a little monkey or whatever. Of one of their colleagues on the board who happened to be a white guy who had a black kid. Go figure. That I guess he adopted. They were talking about his kid. Bouncing up and down, they were saying. But then they're caught on tape talking about we got the numbers. We got the numbers over the blacks. And we can do, how many of y'all remember that incident? That happened, what was it, a year ago or 2 years ago? 2 years ago when we were going through the COVID situation? Put 7s in the chat room if you remember. And Miss Williams, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate it. I need y'all to hit those 7s in the chat room if y'all remember what I'm talking about. I was three Mexican city, I think they were on the board, that work in the city government of LA in high position. And they got caught on video talking about us. So don't give me this, oh, come on, y'all pushing down. Y'all, 3 of your own people was punching down on us. Got caught on video talking about how they was going to sabotage and misdirect resources and try to cut black people out of the apple pie. This is metaphorically, cut us out of opportunity. Because they said on that video, we got the numbers over the blacks. How many of y'all remember that? I need somebody to put numbers in the chat room. Put 7s if you remember what I'm talking about. I can't think of their names. Lone Wolf says put 7. Yeah. If you remember their names, put it in the chat room. Remember, this was in city government. It was a big story. It was a big story all over the damn news in Los Angeles, showing how they behind the scenes, seeing how they can undermine black citizens of Los Angeles who vote, pay taxes, and they on there talking cheesy about us, and then turning around and talking about we got the numbers. We can overpower the blacks. I'm never going to forget that one. I did videos about that. Pro woman comes in and says 7 folks getting too comfortable, disrespecting ADOS. FBA, we're not having it anymore. Thanks for this response, info man. I want y'all to tell me if y'all remember that incident. You know I did a video or 2 videos about it. I just can't think of the names of these individuals, but I had them on. Man, where's my, oh God, did I delete? Man, God, I need the audio so I could play that audio with them caught on audio. Y'all remember this. Y'all remember they got caught on audio. Talking about how they were going to undermine black folks in Los Angeles. And then I think 2 of them stepped down in disgrace. I think the woman, I think she was the president of the board. She had to step down. And then the other guy, he refused to step down. Then he goes to that radio station in LA, talks to Travis Smiley and tries to play the, I'm a good person and I've always been respectful. And when Travis Smiley jammed him up and asked him certain questions, he couldn't answer it. He said, you guys were clearly on there trying to undermine black folks. In city government in Los Angeles. Rakim, what's going on? Her name was Nori. Yeah, I think it was Nori something. Thank you. I'm just glad that y'all know and y'all remember what I'm talking about, that I'm not sounding like a complete fool up here tonight. Hot Lava says, I remember it all. Make sure y'all subscribe to this channel because I'm bringing more fire on this channel with these reactions to videos. And y'all don't want y'all to miss anything that I got coming down the pipeline on this particular channel, which will be different from the Information Man show. And make sure y'all share this video in all your social media in the most relevant places that black people in particular need to see this content. We got East B103. East B103 says this is what we get for being ignored and off code and to invite. Yeah, we're off code.
Tell the truth.
We are off code.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Now we got my sister, the Queen, who comes back in. C Queen Beloved says this. Why is Mexican American media here? Don't they all got something better to sue? Well, Mexican media made a good point, though, Queen, which is Mexican media made a statement that was true, that there's tension between Mexicans, Chicanos, and black people in LA, in the southern part of California in particular. That's very true. That was an acknowledgement. Should I say, my sister, in all respect to you. Let's see what we got here. So let me see. Everfleet says, vote Trump and bring in the project. Trump is one of the, don't even let me get in. Don't let me, I'm not even going to go there, but I could tell you so many things about, let me leave it alone. We're going to stay on topic. The Mexican media is so sad. I remember when I was a little girl, I loved playing with little girls named Rosa. I ate breakfast over there. Interesting. Let me see. C Queen says, beloved, I get that. Alive here. Oh, I get where you coming from. Please don't think I'm not on the same page with you. We got the Undisputed Truth, who just come in the house saying he mentioned at all rallies while insane Democrats are silent. Yeah, I'm going to say this to everybody. You do know
that what's the difference between the Democratic Party and the Republicans? They're both the same. They're two eagle birds of the same wing, right? They all have a different way that they screw you, right? The Democrats, they like to get us with social programs and act like they are understanding of black people, but yet they only come around when they need votes, right? They only come to black churches when they need votes. The Republican Party, they play the same games. The Democratic Party was the party of the Dixiecrats, which is the party of the Ku Klux Klan and all that, the Jim Crow. And then the Dixiecrats left the Democratic Party and they jumped over to the Republican Party right after L.B. signed the 1965 Voters' Right Act, and he said that we have lost the South forever. And then the Dixiecrats like Strom Thurmond, who, along with Joe Biden, Jim Crow Biden, signed that crime bill that put more black men behind bars. But we tend to forget, as we blame Joe Biden, we also got to blame Bill Clinton, who, remember, because Bill Clinton actually signed the bill into law once they got it from a bill to be signed into law. Right?
Tell the truth.
Let me see. Jonathan Kidd, two wings of the same bird. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Once again, Miss Williams, thank you for the super chat that you sent me. I was trying to, what was I trying to do? I was trying to find it so I could put it on the screen. And for some reason, I couldn't find it in my system. But thank you again for that super chat.
Thank you for the super
And a
chat.
clap. I give you another clap again. Thank you. East B 103 says facts. FBA for life says wing of the same dice serpent. Yeah, that's serpent. That's right. Cosmic says none of them, not us, not us, not like us. Everybody, I think it's time for me to get on out of here. I've been at this for a long time tonight. I went longer than what I was expecting to go. Juneteenth is where blacks celebrate freedom from slavery in 1865 in the state that was lost to white men. That's Texas, protecting 1,000 black slaves. Thank you for that statement. I went over, just so you know, I went over history tonight, so I did give people the history lesson behind all the things. I went over to Selma, I went over that, everything. So I appreciate you coming in and giving clarification as well. We've got Eve says you need to read the WHO bill. There was also a lot of money for rehab programs, training programs. Tell the truth. What training programs are you talking about, Eve? Be more specific. What are you talking about? Because I remember, damn it, y'all got me on one tonight. I remember that Dr. King did a video where he was in his church talking to a white reporter. And he said that when the Europeans came over here, they got grants. Ooh, they got money. We're talking about the Europeans that came over. They got set-asides. They got a leg up. And the black man who's been here and the black woman who's been here since the very beginning didn't get no leg up. They got land grants. The Europeans came over and got land grants and got all sorts of set-asides. Matter of fact, when this country went into a Great Depression and Roosevelt did all those programs like the welfare programs, the Medicare, all that shit, you know that black people didn't even apply for any of that shit because why? Because we weren't allowed to. Those programs were originally set up for white Americans, which is why to this very day, white Americans are on welfare at larger numbers than black folks.
Tell the truth.
And we've been told a bill of goods that we're the ones primarily
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
on welfare. And that ain't true. We got CR Reality who just came in the house. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? B1, bro. Info man, I definitely have to catch a replay. Yeah, you have to catch the replay because everything will be, when you see when you look at it from the beginning, you'll see how everything is in context to where we've gotten in the discussion right now. So thank you. We got C Queen Beloved says this. They don't want to talk about that though. They always tell that lie that they grandparents struggled to get what. No, it's a lie. They benefited from the welfare system that they demonized black women and black people under. Black people back in the 19th, coming out of the Great Depression, black people didn't get any handouts. Black people weren't able to get any of these free government programs. These programs, the great deal, whatever they call it, the deal that they came up with, black people didn't get that deal. That deal was for white Americans, not black Americans. See, we've been here for quite some time. Now, remember, the first person to die in the Revolutionary War was a black man, Christopher Attucks. But this is my feeling about it. The Negro deserved to die.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
I'm going to tell you why. Because he fought on the wrong side. He fought for the very people who enslaved his own people, which is our ancestors. So the Negro fought on the wrong side. And I don't like using that word, but I got to tell the truth, and I got to tell the truth.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Am I cooking with grease tonight, or am I cooking with grease?
Somebody gonna have to
Tell the truth.
and I'm gonna tell it.
Jackie's in the house. Should have said what's up. I should have said hi to you a long time ago. Jackie, thank you. You left something in the chat room that I think I didn't mention, but thank you. She says, no, we didn't. We were freed without the tangibles to succeed. Fact, which is why we didn't have generational wealth. See, remember all the other ethnic groups that came over here, whether it be the Chinese, even though when the Chinese got here, they couldn't bring their women over and they were poorly treated as well, but they weren't enslaved. Even though they worked on the railroad, but this is the other lie that's been told. The Chinese came over or brought over to work on the railroad when the majority of the railroad was built by black men. They brought the Chinese over to help out with the last leg of the railroad, which was what? Going into the western part of the country. See, nobody's going to tell you that, but we're going to get it over here.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
We got my man, what's going on? He says, grease is hot. The grease is hot. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Ambry, I'm really bad with names, so y'all going to have to excuse me, but I thank you for that statement. But I wanted to put up someone else's statement. I'm going to have to end the show. I want to know what Samuel L. Jackson has to say about this. I don't know, and I ain't really worrying about celebrities right now. I mean, we know Samuel Jackson. He tells it like it is, too.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
But, I don't know. I don't know. What's going on, sister? Welcome. She says she puts 11:11. It's 11:11. Yeah, it's late across the country. It's 11:11 p.m. I know it's late for all of y'all. It's a Saturday, so of course everybody's up because a lot of people may not have work tomorrow. But I'm gonna have to end the podcast. But look, everybody, check this out. Before I end the podcast, I want to say to everybody, because this is about respect, I want to say once again, like and comment on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed. Hit the bell notification. Thank you for watching tonight. Okay. I appreciate you. Everybody that's come through. Juneteenth has so many things about our culture, our experiences that our people went through that we got to keep some respect to. I want to give a lot of shout out to Kendrick Lamar doing what he did in his concert. I appreciate the brother for doing what he did a lot in terms of, putting West Coast rap on the map, but also doing it on a very powerful day. And I appreciate the fact that he was able to bring LA together, especially in terms of black folks in LA, the street organizations, Tommy the Clown, everybody he had on stage, that was all love. And he said that. If you had a chance to watch that on Prime or watch that on YouTube, whatever, you got to admit it was, I mean, of course he was going in on Drake. All right, he was going in on Drake, okay. But outside of that, it was a celebration of love, a labor of love, and I definitely think that we need to recognize that Kendrick Lamar, you know, he did the damn thing, okay? He did the damn thing.
Tell the truth.
Again, Mexican people have heritage, you have culture, you have things that you celebrate, and we as black people, we would never get in the middle of it and give you and say anything about our representation about to holidays that we have no connection to. Okay? You know, rap music has been around since the very beginning, and it's gonna keep growing and developing. I really would like to see rap music take a turn to getting back to conscious rap. But that's just my bias because I grew up listening to conscious rap back in the day. And that was something that I really enjoy. We're going to always continue to have people that going to appropriate our culture, our music, our dance, our clothing, all of our styles and our more ways and four ways. People are going to always emulate us. And I don't know if that's either sort of a, what do you call that? Like a something that we should be happy about because they're sort of like trying to copy off of us, or however you feel in between that. But the hip hop culture has impacted the world internationally and nationally, and that's just where it's going. But let's not allow the fact that it's impacted so many different people around the world. Let's not forget where it really comes from, the origins, and who was the architect of the music, the culture, the dance. And remember, hip hop is the culture, rap is the music. Hip hop, the culture, is the graffiti art, it's the break dancing, the strutting, the pop locking, right? The 5 elements of hip hop, right? You have the b-boy, the DJ, the rapper, the graffiti artist. These are all the elements that we must hold on to and recognize where it first originated, even though we know globally people are trying to do hip hop dance and hip hop music and what have you, as you see right there. Let's not forget that. Okay. And I'm going to say again, Mexican people have the right to their heritage. And guess what? We're not going to interfere on what you're doing and who you got on the stage or whatever you're doing. That ain't our business, okay?
Tell the truth.
So with that said, everybody, I got to get ready to get out of here. It's late for you across the country. It's late for me. I appreciate you all again. We'll do this again. And make sure you subscribe, share this video on all relevant social media sites. Do me a favor and do that. You can do that right now. If you're listening to the show on your laptop, your desktop, your cell phone, or your tablets, hit the button where it says share, and you can share it right now. If you're a content creator, share it in your community tab. And we're going to be doing some great stuff over here with some of the reactions. And the way I do it is when I go live, this is how the show is going to be. It's going to be a firecracker. And I am going to be uploading videos that are very well edited for your pleasure as well. So everybody, take care. Peace. Peace. This is Info Media Reacts, y'all. Take care.
Have a great weekend.
Tell the truth.